back to another Theme Park Conductor episode. I'm your host, Theme Park Conductor, and today we have three special guests as we're going to break down and recap D23 and the announcements for the parks. We're also going to talk about the Disney Cruise Line that just dropped a bunch of news today, and we got the perfect person to talk about that. But without further ado, let me bring them on one by one so they could tell a little story about them, where you can find them on social media, and kind of their background. But here we go. First up, we got George, the Disney Italiano. How you doing today, and where can everyone find you on social media?
I'm doing good, and yes, I am George, the Disney Italiano. You can find me on YouTube and on Instagram under the HALOGELATO, where Abby and I dive into all things theme parks and entertainment, including Disney, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, even the Disney Cruise Line. And we do a lot of life vlogs and, again, entertainment venues. And, again, you can find us on YouTube under HALOGELATO and Instagram. And you could also follow me under the Disney Italiano under X and Instagram as well.
Perfect. And definitely everyone go support HALOGELATO and the Disney Italiano on social media. We got the man, myth, and legend. I love this guy because when I met him for the first time in person at Disneyland, I'm like, this is going to be a great day at Disneyland. Like, this guy is awesome. Udi,
thank you, sir.
It's so great to have you on. Where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me on my personal Instagram page, which is HAXJOALIE Hacks Goalie. Then you can also find me through our podcast, Leaving Today Podcast, on Instagram. We also have a YouTube show, the LTP Lounge, which is on our Leaving Today Podcast on YouTube. You can find me there.
Absolutely. Great to have you.
Thank you.
We got Udi's partner, the other man, myth, and legend himself, Mark from the Leaving Today podcast. And I want to say, before you do your intro, Mark, yes, I am so happy that you guys have reached the 10-year anniversary of your YouTube channel and your podcast. And also very happy that you just recently put out your 250th episode as you continue to reach closer to that 300th episode, which is going to be another big milestone.
Ah, my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Conductor, for that. It means a lot to me. I mean, and I know for Udi as well.
Yep.
You can find us at Leaving Today Podcast, anywhere that you can stream content, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere that you can find it. Episode 252 is available now. It just came out yesterday. And like I said, and you can find us on Instagram at Leaving Today Podcast. And, it means a lot to me that people listen. And the 250th show was very humbling for us, very eye-opening, and it made us appreciate the space that we're in. And very thankful that we get to talk to you guys, because I definitely have been watching you guys for a long time when I'm at work or whatever. And so it's an honor to call you guys friends. And I love to contribute. Information and knowledge, and to share everything with you guys. And happy belated birthday, George.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to the crazy Disney Italiano, man.
Yes.
Love that guy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I kind of dabbled into his craziness. Like, I mean, there is nothing. And I mean, nothing like George. It's one thing to do videos and content online. It is a whole nother animal that spend time with him at the park. It is such a great time.
I can second that. I can second that
too.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, George, you are our Disney Cruise Line expert. So I'm going to let you kind of take it away and let everybody know what news dropped for the Disney Cruise Line today.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you, all three of you, for the kind words. I greatly appreciate you guys. So yesterday, Disney kind of gave us a little bit of a teaser at the time of this recording, and they were kind of giving us like directions that is like shown like on a compass and what have you, that it all led to the different locations possibly for ports of call and what have you. A lot of people were kind of giving their guesses that it was New York, San Juan, Galveston, Texas, which pretty much actually everyone kind of got their coordinates correct, because as of today, that is what we got. We got a slew full of different cruises that are running into not only of 2027, but even the beginning of 2028 as well.
Wow.
So some exciting things are going on that, yes, Disney Cruise Line is finally going to make its way back to the Big Apple. They're going to have sailings out of New York, which the Disney Wish will be going up there in 2027. And then again, also too, in November of 2027, at some point in time, all three ships of the Wish class, the Wish, the Treasure, and the Destiny, will be ported in Port Canaveral, Florida. So the Destiny is going to move from Fort Lauderdale and move up to Port Canaveral, which I knew at some point in time that's usually what happens. Like a lot of times when the ships get kind of like their quote unquote home base that's out of Port Canaveral, they kind of do like these small 3-4 night cruises, and then they still continue their smaller itineraries, but they end up moving them to Port Canaveral, which begs the question as to that when the Wish moves up to New York, then I'm wondering if then the Believe will move in with the Treasure and the Destiny. Oh, can't hear you, man.
Sorry. That is a very interesting point. Like, I mean, we kind of, and George, I want you to elaborate on this because I was sitting right next to you in the Honda Center. They didn't really talk about too much cruise line news. Like they talked about the Disney Believe, like the atrium statue, the little figures in the back of the ship, and whatnot for the Disney Believe, but there really wasn't much after that. So do you kind of feel like this is kind of like what they should have released at D23 for the experiences panel, or you think this was something more of what they did releasing this article to the public was more appropriate?
I honestly think they could have released this at D23 because the Imagineer that they brought out did mention this. You know, there is going to be sailings, you know, in different locations. So I don't know why that they really couldn't, because this is major news for the Disney Cruise Line industry, but it's nothing like it's a game changer that they had to have the information. So I don't know why that they couldn't release it there and then. Also too, that they did expand the sailing dates out of San Diego because they extended the contract for that. So there's going to be a lot more cruises and itineraries coming out of San Diego, which I am so excited for, because I'm hoping at some point one of the newer ships that's going to be that they teased with the newer class that they didn't name yet, that one of those ships will have a permanent home here in California. Because it would be a hop, skip, and a jump, because everyone knows I'm a Disney cruise guru. I absolutely love it. I've been on a dozen of them so far, and it keeps growing. But I also want to mention too, because you had mentioned about like some of the things that they did announce. I had a speculation that they were not going to mention a lot like we initially thought, after the fact that they will be doing a live webcast on the Disney Wish on October 7th that's going to release basically everything there is to know about the Believe. We'll probably get the restaurants, we'll get the Broadway shows, we'll get the features of the ship itself. So I kind of had an idea that pretty much the cruise line news was going to be very short and limited on the information. I am going to say though, because before we pass it to Udi, because I know before we started recording, Udi has some things he would like to talk about the cruise line industry, and I'm very curious to hear what his thoughts are. But I just have to say, speaking of the lobby atrium statue and the characters on the back of the ship, and also the front of the ship, I have to say, I like them all individually, but putting all of them together on the one ship, it's kind of lost in translation for me.
It's a mismosh.
It really is. So like Tinkerbell, I think is perfect for the front part of the emblem of the ship. You know, Disney Believe. I mean, come on, faith, trust, pixie dust. You know, it's Tinkerbell. I could even see a little bit of Moana, you know, because, you know, she had to believe in herself that, you know, to, you know, take care of her village or what have you. The one that kind of like really threw me off is Buzz and Woody, because I'm not understanding the correlation between that and, but like, literally, I would think that they would have put that on the back of the Adventure or something, you know, like, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I love how they look. I just think that it wasn't appropriate for the Disney Believe.
No, but Odie, please.
Oh, honestly, now that you're here, I mean, George, is a good question. So, not ever being on a cruise, and I've heard nothing but rave reviews from everyone who's ever been on one. We have a great listener on our show, and he's been on a few as well, and he loves it. He thinks it's an amazing thing. So I appreciate that, but my question is, how many is too many? How many? We're at 13, right? We're going to be at 13 vessels, right?
13, yes, by 2030.
Right. How many is too many? Do you see them being like, hey, we have enough. We'll maintain that and work on that, and then dedicate any of those resources that they've been using to get these going, and reallocating them back to the domestic park or an overseas park, maybe Dubai or whatever. Because that's my whole thing. Is like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Not being a cruise person. That's my question. Like, are we there yet?
Well, that's a very good question, and actually, you're the first person to really ask me that, because we talked about like the number of ships that we're going to have by 2030, 2031, but no one's really like turned that into a question and said, you know, when is too much enough? Pretty much. So yeah, very good question. So it is, to my knowledge, in the cruise line industry, looking at Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Alaskan, that there's points of time where they're like in like 20 ships in.
Okay.
So really, Disney is still kind of like a baby when it comes to the number of ships. However, I think that's a little bit of the issue in the cruise line industry, because they're throwing a lot of ships at once, but they're all kind of going the same itinerary and the same destination. So for me, I don't mind them reaching 20, 25 plus ships, but I say, like, give some breathing room, let them span out. So actually, I think, to your question, which it says 13, but I really think there's going to be 14, because Japan is already talking about a second ship, even with the first ship. So I'm going to say 14. Let's just say 14 ships. I say when all 14 come out between 2030 and just say however long the Japan ship, the second one takes, say like 2033.
Right.
They should hold off. Like, put up some revenue, let people enjoy the itineraries, let them experience it, because the more ships that they bring out at once, they're going to have to maneuver and change itineraries of the ship. And people can say, oh, you know what? I didn't get a chance to go on this ship yet. It's now moving over to Europe when it was just in Florida. Or when it's just in New York. And I feel like that's also, too, a strategy that Disney is doing by adding New York back into the itinerary, and adding San Juan, and adding back into Galveston. And I wouldn't be surprised if they add New Orleans back in, because that used to be the home base for the Wonder for the longest time. So I think they're going to have to add more capacity for that, because, when they hit 13, 14 ships, they're going to have to. But I think sometimes, as I always like to say, sometimes too much is too much.
Yeah, right. So then the other question was the rumor of it being we're going to get one ported out here. Do you think LA or Bay?
San Diego, isn't it?
Or San Diego or Bay Area?
I think, honestly, they're going to I think they're going to do it out of San Diego, because they already have like a kind of like a relationship already down there, and they already signed, a contract to extend, further on. But it would not surprise me that if one still doesn't eventually end up in the Bay, because again, as we get 13, 14 ships, they're going to have to place them somewhere.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have anything to add to all this?
Well, I know Udi brought up 13 ships. My thought was, if they get rid of the subs in Tomorrowland, do you think they can add these subs to the fleet? Actually,
Hey, you know what? They could add it to oh my God, George.
I'm totally joking. I'm.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, I'm not. You could take the subs and put it in was it Key West?
Oh yeah, probably.
And just sink it underneath the water and make it a scuba diving experience. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But actually, I have two questions, and this is from someone, as like Udi said, I've never been on a cruise before, except for the Jungle Cruise, so I'm very naive with this stuff. But it says it's returning to New York. So it was previously in New York? What one of the ships?
Yes, the Magic used to sail out of New York after it made its run down in Florida in Port Canaveral, which it still made its round to Castaway Key and everything from New York. So a lot of the New York sailings were like 7 nights.
Okay.
Magic. So and then they took that away for the longest time. I believe it was I think it was after COVID. After COVID, they never brought it back until now.
Okay. And so they had been going to Canada before, but now, or is this the first time they're going to Canada and stuff?
So they would still have ports like in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would you could either go up to Vancouver and it would take you to either Alaska or Hawaii, or it would be vice versa, because it's only a one way. So if you're going to start your cruise out of Vancouver, you're going to then travel. That you wouldn't loop back. So wherever you would end, that's where you get off. So if you start in Vancouver, you would actually get off the ship in Hawaii or Alaska, and then you would have to fly back.
That makes sense.
But I saw like Nova Scotia up there. So, but the east side of Canada. So it's going to service those.
That one's a new one. Yeah, the east side of Canada. That's a new one. Yeah.
Okay. And then my last question. So they're adding a 13th ship. So these things must be something very popular that every cruise seems to sell out, or no? Or do they need more ships for the demand?
So for me, I feel like that it is a separate market that what a lot of people look at is because this is where I think Disney kind of handicaps themselves, because they put the cruise line industry with the parks. And I really wish that they wouldn't. I wish that they would kind of have their own department with that, because a lot of people look at the revenue that they compare it to the parks. The cruise line is its own beast. So I feel like that the demand is there, but when people look at it mirroring the parks, they're like, okay, why are they adding more cruise ships when it doesn't look like the demand is there? The demand is there, but when you're comparing it to the parks, that's where it gets lost in translation.
Gotcha.
So I think, honestly, I wish Disney would kind of like, it says parks and experiences. I wish they would just do parks and have experiences in a separate.
Well, see, I couldn't agree more, George and Mark and Udi. I think having the cruise line in a separate division and being in its own division would help separate it. And to what George was saying earlier about, Disney Cruise Line, you got Princess, you got Royal Caribbean, you got Viking, you got all these other different cruise lines that go to these same destinations. But I think what I like about it is you have variety of choices and it's not limited. So let's say, for example, George has been on so many Disney cruise lines that he wants to go on, I don't know, Royal Caribbean, but go to the same ports. It might be a different experience because obviously each, cruise ship industry or like company offers different perspectives, offers different entertainment per cruise line company. So I do like that. I do like that there is variety. And I think what George is saying about, leading up to the other companies with 20, 25 ships is a possibility. My whole thing is, I think it's great that they're increasing the ships to 13, possibly 14 by 2031, 2032. I have no problem with that. But at that point, I would kind of like to see the shift, especially if they're going to keep the cruise line mixed in with the domestic parks as one division. I would like them to kind of slow down on the cruise ships after that and put the attention back on the domestic parks, being that we have a person, Josh Tomorrow, who is a parks guy running the company.
So I have my thoughts on why they've kept those two businesses under the same umbrella.
Sure.
And the only thing that ever really made logical sense, because you're right, when you really look at it, those business models are completely different, right? Park, and then the cruise line is different. The cruise line has been incredibly profitable, from my understanding. Everything I've heard and read and seen has been profitable. And you all know my I don't have a love for Bob Iger. So I've always pictured it like he did a lot of things that kind of cover things up or try to pad the number or massage it to make it look a little bit better or whatever, because at the end of the day, he was the CEO of the company trying to make the most he could. So I feel like they kept those together because it helped pad that entire sector. That's why when you look at the streaming side, they never really go into full-on numbers talking about viewership and stuff like that. They kind of hit all that stuff. So I'm curious now that with Josh coming back in and on the podcast, I made my case for Josh Tomorrow really stepping forward. And I think he took D23 and really stepped forward. That he may wind up doing this. He may wind up beginning to really divvy up those stuff, because these should be feathers in the cap of the company, not just kind of muddled into one big ball. And I feel like we're on the precipice of a lot of things changing for the positive in Disney as a whole. We're talking movies, the entertainment side, the park side, and the cruise side. So I'm wondering if a year or two down the road, you begin to see these begin to get divvied up, so people can start seeing we're not just doing one thing or two things. We're actually taking a more blanketed approach on improving all sectors of the company. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if within the next year, maybe by the next shareholder meet or something, they say, hey, we're changing how our disclosure are going to change a little bit and have that separated out. It makes more sense that way.
Well, I don't want to dive in it too much, but I guess since we're kind of already down the rabbit hole, I wanted to ask you, what is your overall thought? Do you think it was a good move of them moving consumer products over to the studio side and away from the parks?
So the driver, that's kind of a mixed one, because at the time when they did that, it made sense to me because of what was going on. So yeah, I really feel like you have to kind of listen to what the consumers are saying and what works and what doesn't work. So yeah, it made sense to me at the time. And I still think it does. And I feel like it's another way to tap in further into what we want. Our wallets are going to be showing what we're doing. So let that decide. The bad part of it, though, was it kind of took that stuff away from some of the creative, and that's always the balance that is like, man. I mean, I had a discussion with my brother because I'm much more of a logical with my job. I have to be very logical and analytical in what I'm doing. My brother is a tattoo artist, so he's artistic. So he always leans into the artistic vein and wants to put people who are making decisions to be on the creative side in creative endeavors, right? And I look at it and go, well, we got to make money off of this thing. We got to look at it logically, and we got to do that. So yeah, it's a good idea for me. I know tons of people will argue like, no, it wasn't, but yeah. for me, yeah, I think it was a whole good idea.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys want to add about the cruise line?
No.
No.
Looking forward. I'm looking forward to see what the new ships bring. So
Definitely. Well, I want to make the announcement, so I'm going to just go ahead and do it. Me and George are really trying hard. When they drop that information on October the 7th, we are really trying very hard to see if they announce a date, which they might, about when they're going to open the reservations to book, trips on that ship, and we are going to try to shoot for the main voyage.
wow.
Yeah. Do it.
We're going to try.
All right. Good luck.
And thank you. And now that the new news came out today that the Destiny is going to Port Canaveral, my number is at 11, but it might be going to 14 after 7.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, good luck, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it because it's going to be interesting. But I have the best man on the job for it. George is like the veteran at this, so I'm putting all my faith in him. Because if it was just me solo, I wouldn't even know where to turn. To be honest.
Well, and on the plus side, if you guys can't get in there, you can just blame him, so you're all good.
Oh, believe me, I show affection in many different shades.
Yep.
Many different shades. Oh man! But speaking of Florida, I want to get into the parks experiences because
nice segue.
Thank you.
Yes.
all four of us have many opinions, and I'm going to start with Cars Land. Okay, so I'm going to play the video from our lovely Neil Patrick Harris, which, to be fair, I thought he did a brilliant job. I know
Amazing.
Yeah, he did.
I know others that have told me, it was like a F show. I'm like, well,
No,
it wasn't him.
I know it
wasn't him.
No, I believe me, I know because I thought
just real quick. Did you guys see anyone like famous at all at the Honda Center? Like any celebrities that were just watching it?
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody. George, did you see anybody?
The only person that I know that was sitting in the second on the floor, right by that circular stage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only one that I know, I mean, he's famous to us in the Disney community, was Bob Gurr.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay.
I love Bob Gurr.
Oh, yeah.
Such a man. He is a true legend. I mean it. True legend.
He's getting inducted into something during the IAPA convention in November.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So I can't wait to see that.
Right.
But here we go.
26 is a very special year because it marks the 20th anniversary of one of the most popular films in Pixar history. Are there any Cars fans in the house? Well, earlier this week, you probably heard that Disney is expanding its collaboration with F1 into the world of cars. And there's so much more Cars love on the way, including 2 new attractions at the Magic Kingdom in Florida. Here to talk more about those, please welcome back Michael Hunchen, joined by Imagineer Jason Grant.
So I want to ask you guys, first of all, before they actually get to the names of these 2 attractions, what did you guys think? Because I haven't asked you yet. What do you guys think about how they did this presentation? Kind of like a Johnny Carson, Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon vibe. What do you guys think about that?
Udi, you can go first.
Okay, so my opinion is I appreciate all the day players, all the people, the production. The production itself is fantastic. My only question was, or is, does it really fit with what we're coming to hear when people go to that, when we tune in to watch it, do we need the song and dance? Do we need the comedy routine? Do we need that? I'm going to argue with no. I'm going to say, like, it's good to have some kind of entertainment value, right? NPH
Sure.
being the MC was fantastic. A lot of the things that fell flat during the thing weren't his fault. You could see he was kind of just working through it. But I feel like if they wanted to do the singing, the dancing, all the stuff, that's a separate thing. That's a separate thing. It was way too overproduced for what we wanted. We as Disney fans, we come in and this is what we come for. We come for more information, for names, for release dates, for updates on what they're doing. That's the core of it. We appreciate the singing and the dancing and the comedy and everything else like that, but that's not what we're there for. So I liked it and hated it all at the same time.
Mark?
So, I don't need any of the comedy bits in there. I just want to get to the content. But I think the question that you may have asked was, did you like the format of the couch and the interviewing? I actually like that a lot. It's more of an informal conversation amongst friends where people aren't just standing and talking at the audience. They're having a conversation. What I found funny and actually great was whenever they showed new concept art, Neil Patrick Harris wasn't looking at the guests. His back was, he was looking up at the screens going, oh, what's all this and this? And I love that. So I love the fact that it was more of a informal presentation like that. But yeah, like Udi said, the singing and the dancing and and that comedy guy, it really wasn't what I was there for.
Yeah. George?
Okay, so for me, I'm a little bit more different approach after experiencing these at the Honda Center and also experiencing these at the convention center.
Okay.
When they would do these presentations at the convention center, like, in 2009, 2011, and so on and so forth. It was more so of a cut and dry, kind of get to the point, PowerPoint presentation, show that kind of stuff, which I'm all for. When you move it to a venue like the Honda Center and you are now upcharged for a ticket and you're paying $320 per person per night, I think my mentality then changes a little bit where I wouldn't mind having a little bit more, aside from just, because I think honestly, after paying again, over $300, if it was just what we got back in the Anaheim Convention Center, I'd be like, oh, that's great. We got all news, because a lot of people were even complaining about the amount of news that we got. So strip everything off of that and just say that we just got the news. No singing numbers, no comedy bits, no nothing. We just got the news. And people were even complaining about the news of the announcements now. I think it would have been an even bigger crap show that people would say, oh my God, I just paid over $300 some per ticket and it was dull. It was boring. There was no life to it. And we got crappy announcements. So I think my mentality is a little bit different on it because I've seen both ways of how they were done at the convention center and the Honda Center.
Yeah,
well,
that's fair.
But let me just add to that. But that's Disney's fault for charging for.
That's where they kind of stick their foot in the mud, because when you do that, and now holding it in a bigger venue where you can now hold more people, how can you ever then go back to the Anaheim Convention Center in a smaller venue? It's like they can never do it. So now they have to, moving forward, they have to keep upcharging people. So in order to do that, they have to give them a Honda Center.
Right. And the only thing they can do now is cut away from the big song and dance and just not charge as much. For me, I'd be fine with it. Like with you, George, like the hardcore people are going to be there and they enjoy it, but the core is there. So if you paid $150 and we're going to go sit in the thing and they're going to have a conversation, PowerPoint, stuff like that, I would be like, cool, let's go.
Yeah, I would be fine with that too. If they cut the price then I'd be like, yeah, I don't need the big song and dance kind of thing. Because to me, it really has nothing to do with the parks.
Correct.
That's true.
Correct.
Like watching, like I didn't get to see like the '90s Rewind concert. A lot of people said that was like really good. It's on Disney Plus, folks. Check it out. But yeah, like when you're talking about the parks, like let's stick to the parks.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that there's only so much that they could talk about, to try to still fit everything in a 2.5 hour bit.
Right.
So that's another thing too, because again, when you're charging someone the price of a concert ticket and you strip everything off and you only give them like, I don't know, like 45 minutes to an hour, they're going to be like, wow, we really paid $300 for that.
Yep. Yeah,
exactly. No, exactly. I totally agree with you guys. Like, I mean, oh, go ahead.
So sorry, not to cut you off, conductor. I just have one thing to say because this is shown on the screen, and I know we'll go through bit by bit, but this actually is for a majority of the attractions. I don't know where Disney came up with these titles for these rides, but I'm sorry, like we don't need an encyclopedia dictionary
as a title
for a title of a ride, like
because people are going to abbreviate. Like, I mean, when this is open and me and George are down there experiencing all this, I'm going to say, hey George, you want to go hit Miss Fritters? I'm not going to say, let's go hit Miss Fritters Daredevil spin along. That's way too long. And I'm probably going to be exhausted because it's probably going to be hot or it's probably going to be monsoon weather. And the last thing I want to do is read a dictionary of a title.
Yep. I'll probably honestly even do you one better. I'll say, hey, conductor, do you want to hit that bus spinner thingy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Crazy. Well, I'm go ahead, Udi.
Well, no. And just let me add to that. The reason why I feel they do that is because they're trying to illustrate what it is. And you can't always do that with just a few words. So, and you're right, conductor. We abbreviate everything. We abbreviate almost every attraction. I mean, other than Matterhorn, but even Matterhorn has Matterhorn bobsleds. So even the short ones, Peter Pan. We can go on Rise of the Resistance, Rise. Millennium Falcon. It's not Smuggler's Run. We abbreviate all of them. All of them. Yeah, so like that one, I saw them pop up. I'm like, oh, fritters.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, let me ask you this. Being that we finally know what the second attraction is going to be, it's basically going to be one of the Cars rides from Disneyland Paris. Are you guys happy that we got this second attraction as a filler attraction, or do you think it wouldn't have been just better off just having the main e-ticket attraction and that was it?
You gotta have to.
Yeah.
You gotta have to. I feel like for all of us when we go to the park, if you don't have enough going on in a specific area, I mean, Galaxy's that perfect example, right? They opened it up with Smuggler's Run.
Yeah. And
Rise sat in the background for a while. You need to have to. Most of these areas cannot survive on one attraction, even if it's an e-ticket, even if it's amazing. You can't do that. I mean, look at Avengers Campus. Is another prime example. You cannot do that. You cannot just have one. It just won't.
And I totally agree with you. Being that we're looking at the main e-ticket attraction right now, and seeing these clips, because Udi, Mark, you actually did you watched the live stream. Okay. And me and George were obviously in the Honda Center. What did you guys think about this attraction, being that how long it is? And I'm going to show a picture of what the model looks like from the Imagineering Pavilion. But seeing that what you're seeing on screen right now, what are your excitement factor for this attraction? Because obviously it's the bigger of the two, and it has different like seasons per the track. So what do you guys think, Udi? Please.
Honestly, when all this began, that they were gonna take up the river and add all this stuff. I mean, everybody came out. Everybody came out with, how can you do this? Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, I've never been to that park, so it's one of those things where I have a very limited perspective. But that being said, once I saw the idea of what they're gonna do, I was like, holy crap! Like they're going for it. Like what they showed and what they described and what they're doing, I was totally blown away by the whole thing, because I didn't think it was going to be all that. I really didn't think of like, really, how creative can they be with like an off-road ride? Like, how's that even going to work?
Yeah.
And then sure enough, I mean, we've been kind of tracking it on our show with overheads, and we kind of looking at it, trying to figure it and piece together as we've gone. This thing dropped and all this popped up and went, holy cow, that is awesome. Like, they deliver that right there, what's on the screen. Holy crap, how cool is that? You're going up, you're going down, you're going through the snow, you're doing all this stuff. Like, I love Radiator Springs. It's one of the funnest things you can ever ride on. It's just, it's just so much fun. So if they can capture that, and it looks like they're good, they're doing that, but with an off-road tint to it, how cool is that? So I'm interested. The only thing I'm more curious about is I want to know more of the story, and I want to know what's going on there. That's the only thing that I don't remember really catching or really getting. Like, what's the story? And honestly, that's more of a curiosity thing, because I think when you go on Radiator Springs, the story is part of the whole fun with the whole thing. You kind of reliving a little bit of the movie, but then you're kind of racing, so it's kind of like a cool little bit where you kind of get pulled into the movie. So I'm curious what they're going to do there for that.
100%. George, what was your initial reaction? Even though I was sitting right next to you in the Honda Center, what was your initial reaction to the details of the e-ticket attraction?
So kind of going back a little bit further to 2 years ago when they first made this announcement, I was actually one of the very few people that was optimistic about this project, even though that the Rivers of America was going away. I've been to Magic Kingdom many times. Yes, the Rivers was beautiful. It brought in a certain aesthetic to the park. You had the Liberty Bell boat going around and what have you. My thing was, after coming out to Disneyland, I saw really what the Rivers of America was truly about.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like in comparison, I was okay to lose it down in Magic Kingdom.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was still hesitant of like, were they going to make this kind of look very cartoony, kind of plastic look, what have you, where when they kind of showcase this now 2 years later, I love how it has like an animated feel to it, but there is a lot of realism with the rock work and the geysers and everything surrounding you. I do hope, my concern is, and I hope Disney does not drop the ball, because again, I always say, do not get married to the concept art.
Right.
I hope what they are showcasing here with the geysers popping up and everything, that is not just for show. I want things to be interactive while we are on the ride. Also, too, because Conductor, you had mentioned about different like seasons or different locations. Like the higher up you are in the mountains, there's snow, it's colder. I hope Disney utilizes the technology that they kind of used way back when in the original test track, when you would go into the different rooms where it would show you how the car reacts to different climate. So you would go into a room that it's really hot, and then you'd go into a room that is really cold, and you'd go into a room that kind of has like this very like mugginess, kind of like precipitation kind of feel. I hope they utilize that for this, because when we go up into the snowy peak of the mountain, I want to feel that chill. I don't want to just say, okay, like this is like falsified snow that we're just passing by. Like I want it to really feel like if we're high up, I want to feel the chill as we're passing through. When we're going through the geysers, I want to feel that mist. When we're going through the terrain, I want to, feel the bumpiness of like the dirt and everything. Like I want it to feel real, but in a cartoon style world.
Definitely. Mark, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've got a lot. So when they did initially announce they're going to close the Rivers of America, it did strike a fairly sensitive chord with me. But the thought behind that was, if you're going to replace this with something, you better hit a home run, not just to the warning track, but this ball's got to go out of the park. And from what I've seen so far, I'm in love with everything. Everything about this land is incredible to me. When I saw the new ride presentation that you just showed like a minute ago, Udi and I were just talking like, how awesome is this thing? I mean, like just like the scope of it and what they're planning to do. I'm really excited about the technology going into this because, as George mentioned, we got Test Track. That's like version 1. Then we get Radiator Spring Racers 2. I mean, and that's like version 3. That's version 2. This is version 3 of what they're only getting better at this like particular ride system. And I love the different elements. I don't know what is going to be the technology that's going to like propel these cars. Is it going to be like, I see here, I don't see any sort of middle guide rail anywhere.
No,
keeping these cars. So I don't know if it's going to be like a version like we have on Test Track in Radiator Springs where there's a slot. And if so, I mean, George, you can ask better about this. When it rains in Florida at Epcot, do they shut down Test Track?
Yes, they do. That is the big major problem that this area is going to have, because both attractions are going to be outdoors. It works nice out here with Radiator Springs Racers and Gators Junkyard Jamboree and Luigi's, because out here in California, there's not really too much rain. In Florida, it basically rains every single day. It is very unpredictable. So I'm very curious how they're going to handle the logistics and operations of this area, because that is very concerning.
Absolutely. And then, Conductor, to your other question, I do feel it's important to have those smaller, maybe like a C ticket ride to go along with the E tickets, because clearly this Ridge Run Rally is going to be quite popular, but you need something for like the other kids just to have something like to do. And I love everything that I've seen in this land. And I didn't see if there's any did they mention any restaurants or anything?
No, they did not.
Okay,
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be, from what I understand, I mean, they may change it. It's just going to be the 2 attractions and then maybe like a merch store.
I want to say though that because if you look at the model, let me pull up the model.
Maybe a quick service. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they'll have like a sit down, but they should also have a quick service.
Well, I thought they're like sort of like bridges and things like that for kids and people to walk around and like explore in there. Or was I wrong on that? Or
I don't think you were wrong. I just don't know if we have enough detail to pinpoint, like in this model here, where that would be. I'm guessing though, and this is just a pure guess. I think if they were going to have a sit-down restaurant, to be honest with you, it's going to be this right here, because this seems bigger structures. Not a ride. So I would think this would probably be the restaurant right here.
Okay, just for point of reference, George, where is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in this picture?
So Big Thunder is I think where Conductor's cursor is, because down on the bottom left is sorry, the upper part, like behind where the over
here
mountain, I believe
it's over there.
That's where Haunted Mansion is, because if you come over to the right side of that mountain, you see that line of buildings right there. Right there. There's line of buildings in the back. That's basically when you walk down that strip with Country Bear and Pecos Bill and everything.
Oh, well, okay, then Big Thunder is going to be over to the right of the screen then, right? Is that
right? Honestly, these buildings that are up in the front, actually, that's probably going to lead more into Villains
Land.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I kind of thought I kind of thought this building right here, George, was the Haunted Mansion because you got these.
That's what I thought so too. I thought so too because when I actually looked at it, I thought, okay, that is the mansion. But when I saw the buildings in the back, I knew that was the stretch of Frontierland. That when it circles around, that's where you'll have Tiana's and then Big Thunder.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Anything else you guys want to add about Piston Peak?
I told Udi that we've got to get him out there when this thing opens up because I really want him to I want to go there with him and just be able to sit there and just
we got to plan a guys trip. We got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh well,
yes. I already said when that and Villains is open, then
yeah, we got to do it. I am 100% down for that.
And you guys know me. Just give me the date and the time. I'm there.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, George. Did you want to add anything else to this?
Oh yeah, just really quick before you move on. To your previous question earlier, I agree with the guys. I feel like that even for how small of an area this is, you still need 2 attractions. So I feel like that a kid-friendly, family-oriented attraction fits well. It does look like the same kind of ride system that they have over in Paris, but the fact that they're going to use Miss Fritter and she's going to be a gigantic audio animatronic, but again, to Mark's point, I'm very curious if they're going to have an awning or something that's going to cover her, because when it rains, you can't have, or even the Florida heat, these audio animatronics, can, start to malfunction.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that, they'll have something, surrounding her
to cover
her. Yeah.
More than likely.
Beautiful.
No.
And the title of the main attraction, even though it is a bit long, I do like it. It rolls off the tongue very nicely.
Oh, the Ridge Rally.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing I asked before from someone else was, do you guys think there's going to be any indoor caverns of this on this attraction where there's some indoor show elements?
Maybe.
It's possible, but they didn't showcase anything.
No.
Okay.
They did not. They did not. I wish they did. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just want to say that I feel like I hope they do, because it adds, again, this was part of the reason why I was asking what the story element is going to be. Because I figured that would play into that, because like what we have out here with Radiator Springs, we have that in and then out the final.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I'm curious if it's going to run similarly. With that, we're going to get a story. You're going to do why you're out there, and then you're going to go do the rally. So I'm assuming that's probably what it's going to be, but who knows?
Definitely.
And also, sorry, and one last thing, and also how they said how it's going to be set up, where you will not really see too much of the elements inside the area and vice versa while you're walking through Frontierland. So I'm very curious of how the structure of it is going to actually be completed, where you can see it, but you're not going to have any interruption of anything surrounding it once you're in the land.
Definitely. 100%.
Okay, then let me ask you both of this question. I think I know the answer from Udi, but let's say it opens and people start doing their POV stuff. Are you going to watch the POV stuff, or are you going to wait until you can experience it?
Oh man, so I'm kind of like back and forth with it, because I kind of like think about it where it's like, okay, this would be good for content, but I also have a viewer that watches religiously, that constantly says, take moments where the content could actually be your first initial impression of it. Get that first, like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it's so easy to turn on somebody's POV, sit in front of a computer and react to it, which again, nothing wrong with that. I've done that many times, but the viewer was saying, like, we would really love to see your real raw reaction. First time.
I think like something like that, like exactly what George is saying. It's almost like evergreen content.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Because honestly, I'm planning to be there for like around opening day, and I know a lot of the influencers and media will like get their POVs out first. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna still try to be down there around that time anyway, because usually it'll be like days before,
Mhm.
hopefully. So I think honestly it really wouldn't matter, because if I can get there for each of these projects on opening date, then I can have my cake and eat it too.
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
100%. So I want to play this next video. I think I'm gonna just continue the videos with no audio, just in case of copyright. But the next one that Neil Patrick Harris announces, well, actually, you know what? Screw it. I gotta listen to my boy Harrison Ford. I gotta do it.
Nah.
And I'm pleased to share that for the first time ever, I'm the actual model of the Indiana Jones animatronic. I'm excited for you to see his next epic adventure, and I'm coming to Walt Disney World soon.
Here to talk about the new Indiana.
So when they had Harrison Ford make that announcement that he's going to be the model for the Harrison Ford or for the Indiana Jones like animatronic, and you can see here, this is what that animatronic is going to look like.
Nice.
And Mark, Udi, George, myself, we all know what the animatronic looks like at Disneyland. And it looks nothing like Harrison Ford, because when they built the attraction originally, there was some type of legal agreement where they couldn't use the likeness of Harrison Ford. But now that restriction is kind of just off the table, they're now using Harrison Ford's likeness in this new animatronic going in Animal Kingdom, which
And
is
I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to make a prediction right here, right now.
Oh,
I guarantee you, when this thing opens and everyone sees the newer Indiana Jones, with the prosthetics of like the AA and how it looks like, the features of Harrison Ford, I can guarantee you that afterwards, the next big renovation of Indiana Jones out here, they will be putting the animatronics in there.
That's a no-brainer. That's a
That's-
no-brainer.
yeah.
I'm literally thinking the same thing as you're speaking. I'm like, I know what he's going to say, because I'm thinking the same thing.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's
There's no
solid
way
take.
you don't.
Solid take. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they don't. There's no way they don't.
No, exactly. I think like George mentioned, why he's alive. Take not in the mean way, but take advantage of the opportunity why he's offering it to do something for the theme park.
And
Yeah.
that would actually make him feel good too. The fact that he got the short end of the stick, many decades ago with the one out here, he has to probably feel proud the fact that they're going to he's going to have like an immortal moment inside this Disney attraction. Like after the fact he is gone, that, him as Indiana Jones will still live on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for generations to come. Like for real. What do you guys think of the serpent snake? What do you think about this thing?
I will say, like after the fact, I signed the divorce papers. It all went. Oh, you're talking about that one.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Hey now.
Not the other one. I found all this stuff, all the imagery, amazing. I love this stuff. I think it looks amazing. I want to see how they're going to run the whole thing, and so this is the one for me. Like with the POVs, I'm kind of want to see this, because I want to see the story. I want to see this working. I want to see the snake working. I want to see how that's going to look. Because I don't know when I'm going to make it out there. So when it comes to Florida, I'm a little bit more after going, okay, I'll watch it. But this is all cool. Like it just more. I'm stoked on every level for this one, because it just looks amazing.
I
And
will.
again,
Say, oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
real quick, and again, we have to also realize that the upgrade in tech that we've been getting along the way, they're incorporating the stuff. They have to be incorporating the stuff into the newer attractions, right? So, we talk about Rise when it came out and how pretty much all of us were blown away by the whole thing. Now the bar being raised to that level, this kind of stuff has to get at least close.
Yeah.
And we already have the working tech. So that's why I'm so curious about these, again, and the story elements that they're going to be put into it, because what kind of tech are they going to be using from what we already seen, and then what are they going to introduce that we don't know yet? So that's why this stuff is so fascinating to me, especially this.
No, absolutely. And before we continue, I just want to give a big shout out to Attractions Magazine for filming this. But let me ask you guys this: the name, because again, here we go with the name again. Are you guys okay with the long name? Or
this one I really love. I love this one. This actually could be a name of an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, it is.
This fits with Indiana Jones to a T.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is very right on brand for these guys.
But I will say, as far as the serpent itself, I knew when they first announced it 2 years ago, and they said there's going to be a mythological Mayan creature that's going to be, in the temple. And I'm trying to figure out what could it be, because I was telling Conductor this before we went to the showcase. I was saying to him, because I was running through the scenes in my head, because essentially with this attraction, it's basically they're keeping the track, they're keeping the ride vehicles, they're basically just taking out the dinosaurs, and adding the new set pieces and everything. But of how everything is maneuvered, it's just like Dinosaur. That dinosaur is just like Indiana Jones out here at Disneyland. So at the very end of the ride, like out here in Disneyland, we have that big grand finale where you have the big boulder that's rolling towards you, and then you kind of escape and go down, and then you hear the big kaboom and everything. In Dinosaur, before you travel back into the future from being, back in time with the dinos, you have the Carnotaurus lunging at you. So I was telling him, I'm like, whatever the creature is, it has to be something self-efficient that it'll come at you in the finale. And then when they showcase this gigantic serpent, I'm like, okay, that's perfect. That's it. We're going to get the serpent literally coming right for our heads before we drop down for the finale.
Very cool.
Which would be dope. I mean, seriously. And I want to add something to this as well, because Tropical Americas, and then obviously the next announcement we're going to talk about that's at Hollywood Studios, is that both these lands are going to have two major e-ticket attractions that are going to open at a later date. So they are going to go the route of Galaxy's Edge, being that for Tropical Americas, it's going to be in Kanto. I do think, since they're basically doing a heavy reskin of Dinosaur being turned into Indiana Jones, that attraction alongside the little carousel they're going to have are going to be available for guests opening day.
Did they confirm they were going to open it in phases?
I think it was coming, and again, they didn't confirm it, but sources like Tom Corliss, and I think even Scott Gustin even mentioned it. I could be wrong though. I could be totally wrong on him, but at least Tom Corliss mentioned that they're probably going to open Tropical Americas, and then obviously with Monstropolis with the door coaster, those are going to be two lands out in Orlando that are going to do phased openings.
Well, that is actually true, because I was reading something Zach from Boardwalk Time, shout out to Zach, that he posted, which was very interesting, kind of correlation to what you're saying. And I know I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead, but I know we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I just want to showcase it because of what you're saying. Because what he said in his post was, when they made the announcement that Monstropolis was going to open in 2027, and I'm thinking, okay, I thought it was going to be 2028.
Yeah.
But then when I looked at Zach's post, he said that the store, the pizza, the pig pizza place, Harryhausen's, and there was one other thing. It was like four things. No, there was like four things. It was just like the stores and the restaurants that was going to open in 2027. It was either the Globe Theater or the coaster.
Really?
Yeah, well, they announced that they did that during the presentation. So
Sure.
the thing is if you look back at the track record, the phased opening is what they've been doing, and
Yeah.
they've been doing it for a while. So, and Monstropolis is a perfect example of the phased opening. We've got it with Galaxy's Edge, we got it with Avengers Campus, and I mean Monstropolis is another thing here. So you look at it, that has been their track record. Get something open, get people moving in, and get going into it, and then we'll come back and revisit it and finish out the phases. So that's just what they're doing. I mean, I personally think it's a horrible idea. I don't like it at all, but that has been Disney's MO. Unless now that changes, but after this D23, I'm like, it doesn't look like that is going to change at all.
I agree with you, Udi. I am not a fan of that whatsoever. I think it diminishes the appeal of when you open the land, because it's like, if you're opening Monstropolis up to the guests, but you're like, okay, well, this part is open, but this isn't ready yet. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you have, I say, honestly, I would rather wait. I would have rather wait till 2028 until everything is done.
Agreed. I completely agree.
I agree.
And one of the things, again, referencing Galaxy's Edge out here in Disneyland, the one thing I didn't like Udi said, and I couldn't agree more, the Millennium Falcon, I think if it was reversed, okay, I'm just going to be fair, because out of the two attractions, Rise is obviously the better attraction.
Right.
If the land wouldn't have opened with Rise, and let's say the Millennium Falcon came later, I think the perspective on that would have been better.
Yeah.
So there are times when Disney has done phased openings where that concept has worked, but there's been most of the time when they do phased openings, they open the attractions people are still excited for, but not 100% excited for, and it kind of diminishes the land.
Well, it's possible, but it's possible if that would have happened, because if you kind of like dig deep into the mind of a park goer, it could have still came back and bit Disney in the butt, because if Rise would have opened first, and people said, wow, this was like amazing, if this is what they gave us first, I can't wait to see what they do with Millennium Falcon. And then we get a Millennium Falcon. They're like, oh my gosh, like we waited this whole time for this. Like, what? So I think honestly, Disney is in a position where they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. So like, why put themselves in that? But just open them both up. Just wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. The park can give their own perception, once everything is open.
Just as a point of reference, though, remember New Orleans Square opened up without Pirates or Haunted Mansion. There was nothing going on just besides gift shops and a couple restaurants when they opened that up.
That's very true.
The only thing that I think that's different from then to now is social media is a big part in today's thing. I feel like now when they release something, it is like all over, a social. So I think if they were to have done what they did with New Orleans now, they probably, I think honestly, they would be getting the same heckles.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I also wanted to mention while Conductor stepped away real quick. I know we're on Monstropolis, but before we move on to it, I wanted to ask you guys, because we just got off of Tropical Americas, what were your overall thoughts with Encanto? Because I'm just going to call it Encanto. I can't even remember the title. Antonio.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Antonio's something. But just the Encanto attraction, I personally thought it's going to look interesting with the ride vehicles and
Well, I'm not a fan of Encanto. I have yet to make it through the entirety of that film. Mark, who has not even seen Coco. No, I'm kidding.
I've seen Coco.
I'm kidding. But it's an ongoing joke between us with all the movies he hasn't seen. Anyway. Yeah. But I found it interesting. what they're trying to work for, and I thought that was cool. I mean, I at the core of the Encanto, it's about family and everything, and this is the one thing why I love connected so well with Coco. And it sounds like that's exactly what they're kind of doing. You know, it has that thing. As long as they maintain that vibe and that feel, and they keep that art going, then it's going to be good. The ride vehicle looks interesting to me, and how they're going to proceed through with the casita and how it's going to be doing all what it does. Dude, that's cool. So I mean, if I'm there, I would write it. I don't see why I wouldn't, even though I probably will never finish the movie. But yeah,
I think a lot of people have that perception about things. Like they don't even have to watch. I mean, there's people that don't watch really any of the movies, but they love the rides.
Mark, Mark, perfect example.
Yeah.
100%. Any final thoughts on Monstropolis?
Oh, with Monstropolis, I have to say, Conductor, you know how I was like hyped when they showcased the audio animatronic of the octopus in Harry House.
Dude,
well, I was like,
you know, that's one thing. I'm going to be fair, and Mark Udi, I think I talked about it on the first show when I came back from Walt Disney World, but maybe I didn't. I can't remember because we've done so much content together. But George actually told me, he's like, when we go down there, I want you to look at something. Look at the restaurants and the experiences you have here at Disneyland, and then when we go over to Walt Disney World, I want you to tell me restaurant by restaurant what your overall experience was of that dining location of that reservation we went to. And I said, there is no comparison. Like, I mean, when you go to Walt Disney World and you go eat at one of their restaurants, like Be Our Guest or Mythos, well, Mythos is Universal, but they're kind of in the same realm. You get the thematical element of the restaurant. You get the awesome, amazing, top tier food, and you get some type of entertainment factor tied into the restaurant as you're eating. And I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the huge difference. I absolutely love Disneyland. It is the Walt's Park. You know, you feel his presence. You know, it's just a magical place. But the one thing that it lacks, that I'm sorry that Walt Disney World is superior over, is these elaborate sit down, immersive experience, dining locations. And it's so interesting because I as you guys know, I celebrated my birthday at Disneyland, and shout out to Bob from Berry Place 28. He actually treated me for a birthday dinner. And what was so funny was he's like, where do you want to go? And knowing me, how my sarcasm is, I'm like, I really don't know, because all these places have the same exact food. They're just titled differently.
Oh, jeez.
It's like you go to Galactic Grill. It's a burger and chicken tenders. You know, you go to Red Rose Tavern. It's a burger and chicken tenders. It's like, I want Disneyland. If there's anything that we can get out of Disneyland forward, people are saying more rides, more attractions. Absolutely agree. But could we also squeeze in some immersive sit-down restaurants?
100% agree.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, this is another prime example of Harryhausen's, that it's not just going to be an elaborate Japanese kind of style sushi place, but we're getting an audio animatronic that's going to be infused in the restaurant. Like, I mean, come on. Like, how can you beat that?
You cannot.
Yeah.
You really can't. So my whole story with that is I didn't want to leave the restaurants. There were times I told George, I'm like, I just want to hang out in here. He's like, I understand that, but we got a schedule. I have so much to show you. There's so much to look at. Man, you cannot stay in one place at one time. There's just like, and we didn't even see everything. Like, I thought we did. George was like,
I did that purposely so we can go back down again.
So round 2, here we go.
Nice.
But now we're getting back into the Magic Kingdom, but now we're going to talk about Villains Land, because this one had a lot of detail.
This one surprised me because I literally thought we were going to get nothing out of Villains. thought the only thing we were going to get was like they showed us like the sculptures on the showroom floor, like of the trees and everything. Like I thought like they were going to show us like another trip that they took to Europe and France and showed us the architecture. That's what I thought we were going to get. I was not expecting this whole big storyline of a presentation. This like caught me by surprise.
No, 100%. And shout out to Mouse Info for filming this for us. My whole thing is like, I knew about, okay, we all knew from the concept art, the only concept art we got 2 years ago, back in 2024, was it looked like in the picture it was going to be some type of roller coaster. So I had a feeling the roller coaster was going to be officially announced, and it was. The one that I kind of felt like it was a tongue twister was this kind of water indoor dark ride that I don't think anyone was picturing. George, were you thinking that was going to happen?
I had like an idea of what the second attraction could have been, but no, like I never really like kind of like wrapped my head around like of what this thing was going to actually look like. And then yeah, when Bruce Vaughn said like you go beneath, the catacombs of the castle and you enter through the magic mirror and get the different perspective on the opposite side of the glass. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, if they pull this off, I think honestly, this could be the single most greatest attraction that would ever be put in a theme park.
Wow. Okay.
When this came up and I, the rumor mill I know we all kind of take that with a grain of salt, but people are going back and forth like, what are they going to do with Villains Land? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And then the rumor was like, it was going to be one way, then we're going to get a kiddie one where it's going to be more safe. And then, we didn't really know. So I'm with you, George. It was like, oh crap, they're like going into it.
Yes.
And the imagery that they had, I was like, oh dude, that looks so cool. Dr. Facilier, Cruella, Evil Queen. And that artwork alone just was like, Dr. Facilier, I'm like, give me that shirt. Like, give me that, like that artwork was amazing.
Yeah.
So I agree with you fully that if they pull off, that was the one, like the roller coaster itself, the model that they released and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks crazy amazing. But the one that got me was that one, is the water one, because of the description. To me, that one has me a lot more amped to want to see what they're going to do, because I agree with you. The mirror, the realm, look at that. You have the villains there, Jafar's there, Ursula,
Scar.
And Scar's in there. I'm so stoked by that, and I want more of that. I mean, this is all we got, right? This is really what we got, a description of what they were going to do, and then that alone has me going, wow. That alone. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, give me more. Like, this is the one that I really want to dig away. Out of everything that's going on in Florida, that's the one that I really want to know about.
Oh, definitely. Like, I mean, this to me, because there was that whole talk about, obviously on social media, Twitter. Oh yeah, well, originally Villains Land was going to try to compete with Dark Universe and go kind of that evil route. Then it went from that to, oh, well, we're going to make it kind of like a kids-friendly park with a new groove coaster, to now we see this and we're like, okay, now it's kind of getting back to the level of trying to compete with Dark Universe a little bit, but also keeping, that kind of family vibe in a way, but also catering to the adult, fan base of the Disney villains.
Yeah, because I feel like this piece of concept art kind of like meets it in the middle. Like it's dark, but it's Disney dark.
Yes.
Yep.
Udi, you were going to say something?
Well, I was kind of saying, like, and I said on our show that I was worried that if they went with the kitty, that they were missing a huge opportunity to really speak to the overall love that Disney villains have,
Sure.
and because I feel like this is going to be a more adult theme, which is good. I mean, this is good. The story arcs and having a good villain, we all know movies aren't good. You don't feel that your hero's in peril unless you have a really good villain.
Yeah.
So the fact that a lot of people look at mortality and story arc, and a lot of people have kind of made themselves the hero of their own story. This is the kind of stuff that people connect with. The villain out there, who's against them, and life, and so it fascinates me. I mean, this is why I'm connected with this stuff all the way, because that kind of mentality fascinates me. How do you deal with the bad guys in your life, and how do you persevere? So I'm glad they're doing this. I'm glad they're going this route, and they're sticking with it, because I made the comment that it could be the dangerous choice, but to me, it's the easy choice. This was the easy choice to make. Maybe dangerous, but the easy one.
No, 100%. And again, I couldn't agree more with you, Udi. Like, I mean, when Villains Land opens, obviously I want to hit the coaster. I like thrill. I like excitement. I like speed. I'm not going to lie about that. But this right here, like you said, this brings like a whole nother level of excitement, because this is another land that people have been wanting for decades. So I really hope, being that this is the perfect time for this land to be constructed, when it actually does start construction, that we have a parks guy that understands the fan base to build this properly.
Right. And I agree. I think honestly that was the huge worry of having another parks guy as CEO, because of what we've seen with Bob Chapek and what have you. But the difference with Bob Chapek to oppose with Josh D'Amaro is a very likable kind of guy. He's very personable. He knows how to work the crowd, and I think. And no offense to Bob Chapek, I don't know him personally, as a person. I'm for sure he's a swell guy. But Josh, as he continues to say, he was a Disney fan first. I really can't truly say that Bob Chapek was a diehard Disney fan like Josh D'Amaro is.
I agree.
I completely agree, and I think the biggest difference between both of them was how they approached the park and the business. And how they approach it, right? So Chapek, 100% a numbers guy. Any way you cut it, numbers. That's what got him in trouble with Bob Iger in the first place, because he said, I don't need to listen to you. I've got my numbers. I don't need you. Josh is not that. Josh understands, I feel like he understands much better the feeling part of it, the aspect of connecting with it at a deeper level than the money part. Like, money's always going to be important. It has to be. It's a CEO's job. But understanding how you get there is going to be the other thing. So it's definitely philosophically a huge change, even from Iger. And I feel, I mean, I'll make the case, tonight, about why I feel this is his pushing forward and really making a statement about how he's going to lead the company now.
No, absolutely.
And sorry, and really quick, one last final thing I have to say about villains. To Mark's question to us earlier about cars, this is a no-brainer for me when it comes to the villains with these two attractions and the land itself and what else is going to be, because they didn't even tell us what the restaurant is going to be involved with the merch. I do not want to see not one lick of content.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in it literally blindly.
Yeah, same.
Perfect.
Definitely. I agree with all of you, because again, it's going to probably be the same thing for me if they decide, and we're going to talk about it obviously, because this is the last video we're going to do on the East Coast reviewing it. But like Tomorrowland, if they decide to build it the way I think they should, and basically tear everything out and start over, I don't want to see spoilers. I want to go experience it myself. That's me. I want to see what several decades of people wanting something so bad will bring in today's technology. That's what I want to see. So, being that this is the last thing we're doing in Orlando, they announced this, which again was not it was not scheduled to be announced, was Spaceship Earth. Being that Spaceship Earth is the park icon of Epcot. I love Epcot. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with George this time because he's our kind of, expert on the Orlando Walt Disney World.
Sure.
Okay, so are you surprised it took this long for them to actually make an announcement? And I mean, obviously it's a big announcement, but an announcement nevertheless that they are going to revamp this, knowing that back in, I think it was 2022, I think it was Chapek that made the announcement and even showed some scenes that was going to be added to this, and then it got annexed. But could this be them bringing that idea back off the shelf to light again?
So yes and no to both of that. I knew that this was going to come sooner or later with Spaceship Earth because of the announcements when Chapek, and I actually think, if memory serves me correctly, it might have even been 2019 when he first announced it. And it was supposed to be like you follow this little glowing light and it's like your storyteller kind of thing. I wasn't really a huge fan of that, so I was kind of glad that it got canceled. Now, I don't know if they're going to take elements of that and implement it into the newer version that they were talking about this year at the Honda Center. But of what they were describing it is they're still keeping the traditions of what Spaceship Earth is about, but modernizing it. So I'm assuming that we would still have like moving through the ages, but I think what they're going to do is maybe update some of the later scenes where it's sort of like what they're kind of doing with the Carousel of Progress, where you're kind of like upgrading the newer technology kind of thing. But I think that'll still take us way back, in the prehistoric times, and then move us, to the Phoenicians and, with the alphabet and what have you, and the burning, the burning of Rome and what have you. So I think we're still going to get that, but it's going to be with a modern twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that as long as they still keep the traditions of what Spaceship Earth is. Like, I don't want them going in there and like completely like modernizing it where, we're seeing like people like audio animatronics doing the Dougie, and like, like I want to still keep the traditions of Spaceship Earth.
No, 100%. And I think it's going to be a cluster F once they close this thing and they do the work for it.
Sure.
Being that it's right in the front of the park. But I'm glad they're doing it because one of the things George made fun of me. It's okay. I let him have it. Was at the end of the ride or towards the end, they have these two like cameras. Okay. They have these two cameras. And you have these little two monitors on the ride vehicle. So me and him are sitting next to each other. He's building his wonderful Autopia land, world, whatever. I'm trying to build mine. That one of the cameras shows his actual face. Do you know what they show on mine? A stick figure. And it wasn't even that. So, I mean.
It literally was, I guess you could say part of his face, but it literally was like a stick that literally was just sticking up from the neck. And
wow.
It looked like something from, I don't know, like Sinners or something, or some horror movie.
Jeez.
Like I was all deformed or something. I don't know what the
I
hell.
should have bought that photo.
I'm so glad you didn't. I'm so glad you didn't. You hold that to me to the day I die. I know you would. But like things like that, I think need to be updated. So I hope they go in there and fix it, because believe me, that was not the best experience being a stick figure when
No.
everybody.
Well, guess what? Now I guess we can call it even now because you ate my steak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There
I
you go.
still to this day it was very.
I know you gave me that one little piece, and I swear I was like, I took one bite, and I was like, "Son of a gun!" Like he ate my freaking steak. It was like,
Sorry. Oh my gosh!
that's still, I think, one of my favorite moments that we had.
Oh man, that was phenomenal. Like I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I could, and again, those moments are like lightning in the bottle moments that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome to be amongst friends when that happens.
Sure.
But the one thing I forgot to mention about, well, two things, but I'm just going to announce them real quick that was talked about during the parks presentation. They're looking at revamping Figment, so I'm glad Figment is going to be revamped, hopefully with Dreamfinder.
Finally.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say I was just saying finally. Like
Yeah, I know. About
time.
damn time. And then I think the biggest one that we didn't talk about, but I'm going to breeze through it, was the Walt Disney Carousel, A Progress, being that Mother is going to be voiced by Jamie Lee Curtis, one of my favorite female actors. And then you have Bryan Cranston, who's going to voice Father. Quick thoughts on that. What do you guys think?
I thought they cast the perfect roles for that. And I found it interesting that it's starting in Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's awesome. I kind of geeked out when I saw that. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, Michael Myers vibes. Please.
I know, absolutely. And but I didn't. Maybe I missed it, but did they mention the Walt animatronic coming there?
No, they didn't. And I was kind of culture shocked they did not.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be one of the big highlights of that.
I would have thought, George.
Which now makes me wonder if we're going to get a newer rendition of that animatronic. And I think that's what they're probably working on now.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't want to talk about it, because they didn't have enough information yet to actually make a public statement about it. Udi, you have anything about
No, I completely agree with Mark. I think it's a perfect thing, and I thought it was very cool. I'm glad that they're doing these things. I mean, everything needs an update and a refresh over time. So yeah, go for it. And again, I love both actors, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I can't wait to go back and hear Jamie Lee Curtis's voice in an attraction.
Yeah.
Like, she's never been part of an attraction. I always will forever know her as Laurie Strode. That's just my favorite, version of her playing a character. But I'm very excited that she not only is a Disney legend, but also going to be voiced in one of the most classic, iconic attractions out there in the Disney parks.
Well, and I think too, and I agree with you, she will forever be known as Laurie Strode in Halloween. But I think if you also look at some of her other roles, like in Freaky Friday and Christmas with the Cranks, she kind of has this motherly kind of, and wife kind of feel. So I could see her honing in on those characters for this. And then Bryan Cranston, I mean, come on, Malcolm in the Middle. I mean, how could you not get modern father right there? But I actually have one more thing.
Sure, of course.
Before we move back over here to the West Coast.
Sure.
It was kind of a small announcement, but it meant something big for me. Sure. And when they finally announced that they are fixing the freaking Yeti.
Oh yeah.
My God, I forgot that. I am so sorry. Let's talk about that for a second, because I've heard, since I've been in the YouTube game for about 3.5 years, and then before that, just being an avid, watcher and listener of all these great Disney YouTubers. I even heard from Joe Rohde when he's talked about it that what a nightmare it would be to rip the mountain apart and actually get the Yeti out of there, fix the foundation, put a new Yeti. But actually, it's quite funny because I'm glad I have you both on, Mark and Nudie, because I was part of episode 3 from Signs of Amusement with Jason as he's building my sign for my channel.
Oh yeah.
And actually, one of the guys on there, Udi, you know who it is.
Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. He was actually saying that he knows a company that Disney's probably going to look at to do the refurb on Expedition Everest, which is not going to be as they know how to fix the foundation, to add the new Yeti and take the old Yeti out without causing a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So that's good. That's good that they have companies out there, because I think when Joe Rohde initially said back then, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a disaster. We have to rip the mountain apart, then we have to fix the fountain." He made it sound worse than it probably is.
Well,
but
I think back in the day, I think probably that was the only way that they could do it. Now I think like with up-to-date modern technology and how they can maneuver things, because I truly believe, I mean, because this thing has been literally down for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So I think like in that moment, you know, that would probably, they did in that time, they probably did have to crack the mine open, you know, remove the Yeti, remove the platform, because essentially the Yeti worked fine. It was the platform he was standing on that was starting to crack the inner parts of the mountain. Yeah. So now what they're going to have to do is, remove the Yeti, remove the platform, put in a different kind of platform, which I'm for sure they'll probably update the Yeti himself. You know, I'm for sure we'll probably get a brand new Yeti. That would be really cool on top of it. But I was going to hold it to Joe Rohde because I remember I was in the room back at D23 2013 when he said, "I will fix the Yeti at some point, someday, somehow, some way." And I was ready to go in there this year and get in line for his signing of his new book. And I'd be like, "Joe, come on, man.
Oh yeah.
When are we getting it?" And sure enough, this was the year we are. So very happy and excited for that.
No, definitely. And actually to kind of tie it off with that, and George, actually, I'm giving you full credit on this because you actually told me this. You were surprised they didn't have Joe Rohde come on stage and announce that.
Oh, yeah.
I am. He was present there. Like, he was there, obviously, signing with his book and what have you. He was part of, he actually was there at the Honda Center because they brought him out.
Yep.
He did like that little snippet, like where he was like fixing the audio animatronic kind of. Like, yeah, I'm really surprised they didn't bring him out to do like the little Koch interview thing. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity. I think they really should have.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. Anything else you guys want to add about the Florida parks or our Florida projects?
Nope. Just looking forward to them.
No, absolutely. And again, I'm very happy for Orlando and all the projects that are going down. I think it's great. I think California, there could have been a little bit more, meaning Avatar, more detail. There could have been a lot more with Coco, more detail. Didn't happen.
Well, I have my theory about Coco.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I want to play this, though, because this was something we were never expecting. Never, ever, ever. So here we go.
With Tomorrowland. Soon, we will begin reimagining Tomorrowland with optimism you all have been longing for. Returning to a vista into a world of wondrous ideas just as Walt described it. new attractions, more open spaces, new places for you to dream about the future. You all know Walt said Disneyland will never be completed, and those words continue to echo down through time. Since he first opened the gates on July 17, 1955, we've invited more than 1 billion guests to experience the happiest place on earth, cementing Disneyland as a global icon.
So I want to ask you guys, when he made that announcement, and it wasn't just that announcement, but what he said afterwards, new attractions, more open space. And what we're seeing in Tokyo Disney right now with their Tomorrowland, which, again, new attraction, open space.
Yeah.
What does that mean for our Tomorrowland, and how much do you think they're going to reimagine our version?
Sorry, before they answer, I just want to just clarify. Did he say more attractions or new attractions?
New attractions.
New attractions. Okay. I asked that because
new attractions.
It's a word differentiation, but it could mean a whole something different.
Yeah, he said new attractions.
Okay.
But I'm curious. Mark, I'm going to start with you this time.
Okay.
Okay. What was your mindset when you heard this from Thomas Maslam?
I'm sitting right where I'm sitting now, and I stood up out of my chair going, what the hell is happening? And then it was like, calm down. We don't know anything yet. No one knew anything. So I stood up, and I've been waiting for this for 24 years. I've been waiting for this. So I was talking, I'm getting goosebumps on my arm now. I was thinking about it. And I'm not joking. I really am. This is, I'm so stoked with what we're gonna get. It's weird because about a week earlier on our show, I had mentioned that like, hey, you guys need to be careful, or like pay attention to what they're doing in the overseas parks with this reimagining of Tomorrowland there, because what they're learning there, they're going to bring out to our park at some point. I didn't think it was going to be this year, but so with that in my mind, I'm thinking the future looks bright, and we've got a great big beautiful tomorrow around the corner.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong, because again, I said on your guys' channel, on my channel, on George's channel, everyone's channel I've been ever a part of that was talking about D23 leading up to it, I said, I am very doubtful they are going to talk about it or even mention it at this D23. I said, it's more probable that they're probably going to mention it at the 2028 D23, or possibly now the 2029, being that 2029 would be the 20th anniversary of D23. But no one thought in their right mind that this was ever going to be announced, even with vague details. George, I want to go to you because you were right next to me, and a good friend of ours that I've run into many times recently in the last year and a half, 2 years tops. Offhand Disney, Dallin.
That guy. Yeah.
Right next to us. And man, I think I lost hearing in my right ear.
Well, I was going to say, I thought you were going to actually ask me what was my first thought. I thought, well, after the ringing stopped in my ear, after Tommy was screaming, because he actually warned us. He said, I just want to let you guys know, before the event started, he says, if they announce anything of Tomorrowland, I am going to scream like it's nobody's business. And sure enough, he did. And then actually I got him on camera because he's on my vlog. And I said, so Dallin, tell me what you think of everything. And he was like, well, hold on, let me try to get my voice back.
Oh, jeez. I remember that.
Yeah. But I think honestly, this was the right move, because I had mentioned this before, that I've heard from certain people that if you go back 2 years ago from the parks showcase at the Honda Center, in the very beginning of the presentation, when they had the little montage of showing the horizon of the parks, and it showed the castles, it showed Alani, it showed the cruise ships, it showed, everything around the world. they had shown Tomorrowland part of that intro. And a lot of people were saying, okay, we're going to hear about Tomorrowland. And they absolutely said nothing.
Right.
But then we were hearing some things that Tomorrowland was actually supposed to be announced 2 years ago.
Yes.
And they pulled it last minute. For whatever reason, they pulled it, but they couldn't do anything with the intro. So they thought, okay, we'll just keep it there. So I think what was announced this year, where it was like kind of vague and everything, was supposed to be announced 2 years ago.
No, absolutely. And Mark, actually, since we are talking about Tomorrowland for a moment, you actually said something before this recording that I would like you to tell all the people watching on what you found out.
Yeah, I can go ahead and share that news. Is that the Monday after D23, so the day that it ended, it was confirmed that the company Doppelmayr was inside the park, inside Tomorrowland, scoping it out, trying to get a better idea of things. And for those of you who don't know, Doppelmayr is a company that bought Von Roll Ropeways. So they are the company that made the Skyway gondolas, the VR 101s that you see in a few amusement parks left. I think there's like 13 left in the United States. 3 are in California for now. One's going away fairly soon. So it's just something to think about when they talk about the past coming back. So there could be some sort of gondola / ropeway system coming to Tomorrowland, where it's going to link where the terminals are. I would have no idea, but I'm glad they're thinking like this, though.
Yeah,
the slogan is yesterday's tomorrow today. That's the slogan.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So it makes sense with that slogan. It really honestly does. And Udi, I have to go to Udi because he's wearing the shirt. I have to hear his opinions about Tomorrowland. What do you think, man? When that was announced by Thomas Maslam, what was going through your mind?
Well, I was shocked. Okay, again, because we were like we every time we roll into D23 for the last forever long I can think of. Yeah, the conversation's always been like, what about Tomorrowland? What about Tomorrowland? What about Tomorrowland? And I was very much got used to it. I'm thinking, look, my theory was we're getting what we're getting as far as what's going on in DCA. And once Avatar, Eastern Gateway, that's kind of all wrapped up, then maybe that would be a good window for them to introduce something in Tomorrowland. I think I even laid out that timeline on our podcast. So he dropped that. I went, well, holy shnikes. I'm wrong. Fine, good, great. But Mark, no joke, Mark jumped out of it. And I said, calm down, because here's my thing. Yeah. I'm excited for the news. I am. I really am. I'm wearing my Making Tomorrowland Great Again t-shirt. I'm excited for it because of what it means. Mm-hmm. Part of it is because they're doing something, which is amazing. But I got more excited because what it means to me, and what I feel is a signal, is that they're listening. They're listening. They're actually getting to take more input in from us, not just influencers or creators or anything, but people who love the park.
Sure.
And they recognize, this is Josh recognizing, because he's a parks guy, and I think this was the thing that we were all kind of hoping for with him being elevated to CEO, was like, okay, this is a parks guy. That's a different mentality. How's it going to translate into the business? And people wanted to talk crap right away, and I said, everybody calm down, let the man cook, let him work, let's see what happens. So this is 100% him going, look, Avatar has not been confirmed, it's getting pushed back. Fine. I got no concern with it. It's coming. I think the discussion is going to be like, it's never coming. It's coming. But that's why I got more excited. Yeah. I also am, and I told Mark to calm down because they didn't reveal a thing. They didn't reveal a thing. So I was like, let's all temper our expectations. I'm excited. I'm happy. But I'm also worried. This is so near and dear to all of us.
Yeah.
That I'm worried about. There's going to be that segment of fan out there who's going to just crap on it no matter what. They didn't give me what I wanted. They didn't give me what I wanted. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. They should have done. That's all part of what we do, right? We critique. But there's that segment of fan out there that's just going to go and want to hate. And I'm like, everybody, calm down. Let's see what they've got. My only other worry is the timetable that he kind of laid out was the 75th anniversary.
Yeah.
So that made me, in my mind, understanding how construction works, that is not a big window. So
no, it's not.
A full tear down, redo, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I just want to start putting it out there. I don't think we're getting that. I think a couple of attractions are going to come out. I think there's going to be a large redoing of the aesthetics around.
Sure.
And I still feel like, and the last one is I think Autopia is dead. I think it's gone.
Do you think because of what we were talking about earlier of how Disney does things in phases now, do you think when he mentioned the 75th anniversary, that is literally the starting point of Tomorrowland, not necessarily the completion?
No, I feel by 75th anniversary, they'll have a phase done. Yeah. With this is phase here, A1, phase 2 is now that. And that'll be, and I feel like maybe that if we're going to get a big change, that is when they're going to do it. So these next 5 years or 4 years, really, we're going to get a good overlay. We're going to get the feel and the vibe of what they're going for. Mm-hmm. And then after 75 will be the drop of like, okay, so you guys see what we got going on. You kind of like, I hope you guys are vibing, you're digging with it, you're going with it. Now here comes the next big one. Boom.
I think honestly, that is going to be the end of Autopia and the subs.
Yeah.
I don't know about the subs, but I think it's the end of Autopia.
Well, to be honest, I think you guys are on to some because the deadline is February 2027 for Autopia to be transitioned into electric vehicles.
Yep.
I think that's why they pushed ahead Tomorrowland for a reimagine. It's one of the reasons they pushed it ahead of Avatar is because they don't want to deal with making Autopia electric and building the infrastructure for that. So they rather just say, you know what, we'll just do ourselves a favor, get rid of Autopia, save us on costs of making the transitions over, but maybe keep the plans of what we were going to do with it and eventually make it for the Motor Speedway and Magic Kingdom.
I think that was just like an add-on thing. I don't think that was the main reason. I really think the main reason was for them to push out Avatar.
Yeah.
Well, I think honestly, I think it's a twofold, and I think you're 100% spot on, George. That it's going to be, it's one of those like happy coincidences that they can move it over, and take that and move it over.
Sure.
But what I think the need for them to push Avatar, I don't think was so great or so big as I think it was a bigger thing for Josh to make a statement.
Yeah.
I really feel that he knew that we all know he got kind of saddled with Avatar. Iger popped off on an earnings call.
Yeah.
And in typical Iger fashion about trying to make something big so he can get the stock bump. And so okay, now we got to deliver, right? Because that's just the way that goes now. But I think this was Josh going, Tomorrowland is what needs to happen. But when we talk about Disneyland in such a reverent way, because we do. And George, you said it wonderfully because it's Walt's Park.
Yeah.
He understands that space, that area, which is the promise of tomorrow, has been so lacking that that's the best way for him to show, like, I'm thinking about tomorrow. Like, when you really, I mean, I don't want to go too crazy, but I feel like that's really what it is. When you look at Disney as a whole, this is one of the reasons why the beauty of the brilliance of Disneyland is looking at the different lands and understanding how that represents different parts of humanity without going too deep into it. But the hope for tomorrow is a huge driving factor for humanity as a whole, right? So it was kind of crazy that Tomorrowland was dying or dead. And so where are you going when you don't have a tomorrow? So I feel like that's more of the thing. I think Josh said, look, the fans have been yelling at this at the top of their lungs for 2 decades. And how can I prove to them that I'm here for the right reasons, that I want to do what I feel is best for the park and the company as a whole? How do I do that?
No, absolutely.
And make a statement and make it known that Iger, my biggest concern, and I think a lot of people, was like, how much meddling is Iger going to have in the company once Josh comes out, a la what he did with Chapek? I think it was a pretty big tell, like, none of it.
Yeah.
Very well said. Very well said, because that does make sense, because if they were to have kept Avatar in the forefront and put Tomorrowland behind, Iger still could have had more of his consulting on that. So I think, honestly, that was Josh's chess move to say, you know what, we're going to pull this back. We're not saying we're canceling it. We're not saying we're getting rid of it. We're pulling this back, and we're giving this to the fans that they're wanting to. Because when you looked at the model of Pandora that was on the showroom, that was the model. That was the model that I saw 2 years ago when it was just a little clump of clay. Had all the paint brushes. They had all the thing around. So it cost them money, because up until this point, they were still building it. So what are they going to do? Hey, we put out the money for this thing, so we might as well showcase it. Because if they didn't, then it's basically them weaning it out.
Yeah.
The back. Then rather than just say, we rushed this, this was obviously Iger, trying to, again, get back in the good graces of the people, because this was the shareholder meeting of him returning after they fired Chapek. Yeah. So they have to still showcase it, but in small increments, before they could say eventually, okay, it's not going to happen right now. And they basically kind of said it without saying it, that Tomorrowland is going ahead of Avatar. And in a way, I still don't mind. And honestly, I think Dave from Fresh Bake said it best. And I'm actually on the same playing field with him. I don't mind Avatar coming to the Disneyland Resort. I don't mind Avatar coming to DCA. My problem is location, location, location. Yeah, I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I'm sorry, as much as I can try to be, and I'm still optimistic, it still can go in Hollywoodland, but I just think, why not just use a blank canvas? That if we're already going to be pushing it out, Tomorrowland isn't going to come till the back end of 2030 and beyond, and that means Avatar is going to be pushed out even further. We're probably not looking at, maybe, I don't know, what would you say, like a 2035?
Yeah.
36. I mean, it's already pushed out that far. They might as well should just wait.
Well,
and add that into the symbol lot.
Well, to be fair, I think, because if you look at Tomorrowland, and I agree with Udi, the 75th, it's too soon.
Yeah.
I've said myself, once you start touching Tomorrowland, it's not like you can go section by section. When you start ripping stuff apart, you can't stop there. No. Because it's so intertwined with itself, because that's how it was built back in the day. You have to go either all or none with the deconstruction. You have to do it. So I think a better timeline for a new Tomorrowland would be the 80th birthday anniversary of Disneyland, not the 75th, the 80th. I think for the 75th, they're going to make the announcement for 2028 if D23 still happens in 2028, or they wait until 2029, which would be the year of the 75th. That, hey, we're bringing the dragon back to Fantasmic. That would be a bombshell announcement, because people have been wanting the dragon back since it went up in flames. You know, there's other micro things that have a big impact they can announce for the 75 anniversary. I just don't think Tomorrowland rushing that for the 75th is the greatest idea. I think if they want to push it to the 80th for full completion, I think that's more impossible, because Udi, your buddy Lou on the live stream last night, he said if they really wanted to, they built Galaxy's Edge very quickly, and how immersive that land is. If they want to put the pedal to the metal, they could build Tomorrowland and have it ready for the 80th. They could do it, or even for the 75th, but the 80th is more practical.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
well, here's the thing with Avatar. I admittedly missed the reason why Avatar is more than what I thought.
Sure.
I got stuck on the IP side of Avatar.
Yeah.
I got stuck on, well, who's been asking for Avatar? You know, because Iger kept on bringing up the numbers and the numbers and the numbers, and then made, you know, all that. But I feel like Avatar, and the reason why it's getting put there, I think it actually fits better with what they're going to wind up doing with that whole area. I think it's more than just Avatar and the IP. It has a lot more to do with nature, and it has a lot more to do with that than anything else. So I kind of agree with the thought process of like, hey, maybe they should just put it out and push it out to Eastern Gateway or Disney Ford rather. But I'm also, the other thing is like, I also don't know if it's going to be much more than the one attraction and one thing, and that'll be done. Right. And I would be okay with that, because it doesn't need a huge footprint. That's the other part of it too, is much as before, I was very much along in that thought process of, well, why didn't you just wait for Disney Ford and do it really big? And I'm kind of thinking, why do it really big? Why do it really big? Maybe it doesn't need to be big. Maybe it does need to be huge. Maybe it just needs to be the one attraction, a shop, quick serve, you get in the field, you ride an amazing attraction, and you walk off and go, that was cool.
Yeah.
Why does it need to be more? And that's kind of where I've been really like wrestling with this whole idea about, you know, and I've said it before, we got to be outside of the box. I think it's going to be smaller than what I even thought before. I thought it was going to be bigger. And now as I'm like looking at what they're doing, I'm like, holy crap, they actually may be smaller. And Jason from Sign of Music made a good point that it may push into the existing park instead of us thinking it needs to go out. It's going to go out a little bit, but I feel it's going to push back in, and I feel like that's going to be a bigger move. So that'll be like the phase 2 of that. But yeah, I feel like Avatar, I don't know if it's earned an anchor spot out here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom, perfect fit for what is going on out there. Over here, not so much. I feel like an Arendelle or something else, or our own Villains Land over here has earned an anchor out at doing a Disney Ford rather than this.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I mean, if someone were to ask me, would you want Avatar here? I guess, like, if they were doing it, I'd be welcome. But I mean, if I had to pick and choose, no. Not because I don't think that it fits. I'm just one that, like, I resonate now Pandora with Animal Kingdom. Yeah. And it's such like a major attraction that, like, when you go to Animal Kingdom, you resonate to say, oh, I'm going to visit Pandora. Mm-hmm. I can't really get into this thing, even from the very beginning when they're like, oh yeah, Pandora's going into DCA. Like, I'm like, okay, how is this going to work?
Right.
And again, I still don't even know really how it's going to work. But yeah, if I had to, I mean, even James Cameron is basically, and he even said it in an interview, he's pretty much done with Avatar. You know, he's getting older. He has more projects he wants to work on. It's very costly, and it takes up a lot of time to make these movies. And he's even said Fire and Ash has to make a certain amount of money to continue with Avatar 4 and 5. And it did well.
It did not, but it didn't make that number.
It did not surpass that threshold.
Yeah.
No, it did not.
So if the creator of Avatar is already kind of checked out with it,
yeah.
I mean, who's even to say if really Cameron's really not on board with this? So,
Well, I will say that I think another layer of this might be now they don't have to worry about his opinion as much as well.
Yeah.
I mean, legit, and they can be like, "Hey, we're gonna do it our way." Because the other part of it too is that I think we, as fans who follow this, I think we put our own thought process, like you were saying, George. You were like, when you think about Avatar in the park, you think of Pandora at Animal Kingdom, so you're like, it's that, and that's where we kind of we fill those holes in there, even though they've never said that. They've never said that. They've never said we're bringing Pandora to the park. They said they're bringing an experience. At least I've never heard them say we're bringing Pandora to California.
Yeah, they said everything, but they used experience, they used destination, but they never said actually the world of Pandora.
So us as fans and followers, we filled in those blanks. We filled that in, and we went, "Hey, well, how's Pandora going to fit over here?" You just said it, and I'm like, but they never said they're going to put Pandora there. They said they're going to make an experience. What does that mean? And I remember when they said, I go, what does that mean? And that was a big argument. It's like land, experience, what's the difference? Da-da-da-da. So this is why I'm kind of going, look, we kind of did it to ourselves to an extent by putting all this stuff there. I'm going, okay, but I don't know if they ever promised us that. I don't recall.
And the only thing they guaranteed was it was going to go in the Hollywood backlot. And I was just saying on a live stream, I was part with Jared from Capture the Magic and Orange Code 55, and we touched about Avatar, and I said the biggest mistake Disney did with this project that did disservice. One, Bob Iger talked about it when he probably shouldn't have. He called it a land.
Biggest one, yeah,
absolutely. That was the biggest one. The second biggest mistake was telling where the placement of this experience destination land, whatever you want to call it, the exact spot they want to put it. That was the second mistake. Like, if they would have just came out and said, "Hey, we're going to bring the Avatar experience, the Avatar destination," or if they even really wanted to be legit, which I think they should have just been transparent and said, "We're going to bring the world of Avatar to DCA," but not release where they're putting it, I think it would have eased the tension on social media. Because all of us, I think they did it deliberately to say we're putting in the Hollywood backlot because they knew that all of us content creators and social media influencers would talk about it, make content on it, and it would drive up the ROI for the Disneyland Resort for people to go down there and go explore the Hollywood backlot and figure out how the hell is this going to fit in here, and it boosts the numbers for the Disneyland Resort on tickets, merch, food, and everything in between. That was a gameplay by the Disney company and Bob Iger by playing that move.
Of course.
They did that.
Well said, Conductor. And you're spot on.
Conductor, you freaking knocked it out the park with that analysis, my friend. You really did. It's perfect. It's exactly what it was. Exactly what it was.
Exactly.
So I don't think it was a mistake, but a coordinated move. But I still feel like Bob Iger did mess up by calling it land. And that's a slip of the tongue. And you're like,
he did.
Brother, you want to know what you just... I bet you after he said it, he probably walked off the stage or got off the call and went like, "Ah, shit." You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, I know what this is going to happen."
Well, see, I'm going to go even a little further in analysis, Udi. I'm going to say he kind of forced it upon Tomorrow, because I would have to guess, and this is my thought process, when he made that announcement during that earnings call, he had to have had a mindset that Josh Tomorrow was going to be one of the final recipients between Dana Walden that were going to lead the company after he stepped down, and he kind of threw Tomorrow like in the tailspin, because now Tomorrow's stuck with the project. He doesn't know what to kind of do with it. The company doesn't know what to do with it.
But that's why, because in that moment, Tomorrow knew he had to play ball. He had to keep in Bob's good graces because he was a hairline fraction of not getting that CEO role.
I don't even want to. That's a whole other conversation. How different would it be right now if Dana Walden was CEO versus Josh? Honestly, that would make a fascinating conversation because I know exactly where I'm going. But that's actually a conversation to have at a bar over drinks.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, the next time you two come to the Disneyland Resort and me and George are available, we're having that discussion.
That's happening. Oh, that's happening.
Yes, we are, for sure.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
And we're going to get an idiot sandwich.
Very good. Very good sandwich. It was very good.
Had it. I'm jealous.
You had it already?
I had it on my birthday.
Oh, man. Oh, good for you, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I couldn't even get my mouth wrapped around it.
Well, that's an
like
for you.
Your head.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. George, so you wanted to touch upon this before we end today's video.
Yes.
Okay, so Coco.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed with the info that was given about this ride, because we basically just got 2 more pieces of concept art of how it's going to look like on the grounds, like with the statue and what have you, and then we got another kind of variation of like what's in the ride, but we don't really have any kind of stipulation of like what are the audio animatronics actually going to be looking like, what is the actual blueprint of the area of how it's going to look. And I think there's a lot more intermediate detail that people were wanting, but I think Disney kind of protected themselves in that sense, because prior to them showcasing this, they had mentioned Coco 2 part of the studio showcase. And when they started talking about, the attraction with the parks and everything, they said that this ride is going to implement moments of the first movie and even the second film. Right. But the fact that we have no information on Coco 2 and nothing is being released yet, technically they cannot really release anything more that could then spoil the movie.
Right.
So a lot of people are saying, oh, how come we didn't get this and how come we didn't get that? But solely because that Coco 2 is basically going to promote this attraction, and this attraction is going to promote the movie. That's why we didn't really get anything too much on it.
Yeah, spot on. I when we talk about this in our show thread, on our podcast thread, our co-host Becky was very concerned, like, new story. What does that mean? And she hadn't had a chance to watch the parks presentation. I said, well, hey, you know what? Let me set you at ease a little bit. This is going to get butted up against and intertwined with the movie, so we're okay. And you're spot on. The movie doesn't come out till, what was it, 28 or 29? 29. Yeah. And I feel like, that's where we're going to be. We're going to be right in that sphere of the movie coming out. So look at this opening up after the movie comes out. I think it's a fair assessment. And relatively soon after the movie, I feel. So, and it kind of sucks because, the information that we're going to get from story is going to remain super vague, because they were super vague about the story, which is understandable when you look at the whole picture of it. Yeah.
And you're not wrong. Like, I mean, I agree with George, since this attraction's really gonna, like he was saying, it's gonna play host to the first Coco movie, but it's also going to involve Coco too, and you don't want to release stuff because we kind of see that mentality with the parks on an attraction or experience. Because being that next week, me and George are going to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Hollywood.
Oh, fun.
There has been houses in the past for the events that you know were talked about, but due to maybe the movie coming out after Halloween Horror Nights or later in the fall of that same year when the event's going on, they back out details on the walkthrough attraction because they don't want to spoil anything. That's the same thing with this Coco attraction, and George hit it right on the head with why they decide to be vague on this attraction. I will say though, the courtyard looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it does look beautiful, but it does look like the mass majority of the queue, kind of like what Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is out here at Hollywood. The mass majority of the queue is outside.
Yeah.
From this picture. Now I can't judge that because it's only one picture, but from what I'm seeing, that's what it looks like.
I think it's fair. Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment.
Yep, absolutely.
But the other thing I just wanted to bring up, not like go into full discussion because we're already getting pretty deep, is I wanted to show you guys this and just get your perspective real quick before we end, because I remembered this because it's part of DCA, so I wanted to ask you about it. Of Avengers Campus, Infinity Defense, Stark Flight Labs. Okay, so when we saw this model, me and George, not together, obviously, we were. It was chaos, but we both saw it at one point or another. I find it interesting that they showcase Infinity Defense like in its entirety, but when you look at Infinity Defense, all you see is the marquee, and that's it. You don't see any like detail to the attraction, none of it. But during the park showcase, they did show that we are going to have big practical sets and screens. Because the one thing we were all worried about is it's going to be very heavy screen based. And then we were originally worried when they talked about it back then that it might have 3D. Luckily, it's not going to have 3D, thank God.
Well, you know what? Kevin Feige mentioned that you're going to be wearing glasses.
No, you are. It is going to be 3D.
It is.
Is it?
It is going to be 3D. Yes.
Because I was confused on the concept art that they released, not during the parks panel, but just that weekend in general, that people that were riding the attraction, like they showed people in the actual ride vehicle. Yeah, they didn't have the glasses.
You are totally right.
So I'm kind of confused. If you have Kevin Feige saying, "Yeah, there's going to be glasses," and George, you're absolutely right, and I forgot about that. But if you have Kevin Feige saying that, but yet you release concept art with people in the ride vehicle not wearing them, it's kind of confusing.
I think because a video clip like was posted on, I don't know if it was from World Builders or not.
It is.
It was from World Builders. Okay. Where they were like pushing someone in a chair that was like maneuvering them, and they were wearing the glasses.
Oh, they were. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, man, we got like another attraction. Like, here's the thing. I'm excited, but I'm kind of checked out with this project. Like this thing was announced back in 2019. It is now 2026. We find out that we're not going to actually have this open until 2028, which actually, after the fact that they said that, it immediately, I thought of you, Udi, because when we were at DCA and we were talking about this project, and I was like, oh yeah, it's going to open up sometime in 2027. And I just looked over at you and you shook your head. That's all you were doing. You were just shaking. And I was like, I was like, no. And you were like, 2028. That's all you said. It was 2028. So when they made that announcement, I was like, wow, he actually like nailed it. Because when we went up on the Pixar Palaron and you got full scope of what, and you're looking at it and you're like, oh no, this isn't going to be done in 2027. This is going to be 2028. but I'm just thinking of it now. In 2019, when they first announced this, the concept of it, there were kids that were in grade school. Time when this thing opens, they will be in high school. Like it's like I'm kind of like excited about it, but yet I'm just like, I think the hype for me is done. I'm just waiting for it to open so that way I could just like be in the moment and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I too, just like what Conductor said, I'm happy that we're going to actually have physical practical sets.
Yes.
And we're getting the gigantic Panther, which was really funny because the Panther was showcased in the Disneyland Forward section. Well, Wakanda, the big Panther head. So I think that's very interesting that they're now implementing that in the attraction rather than, possibly, but I'm still very curious. I'm still very optimistic. I'm excited about it. But yeah, as far as like the hype goes for me, I'm like, okay, it's 2028. It's going to be an extra year. I mean, I waited almost a decade already, so might as well just another.
Mark, do you have any further opinions about this, or you kind of just like wait and see?
Well, I feel like we got a couple more tidbits out of it. Out of World Builders, there's a couple like seconds worth of footage that I found interesting, and I encourage you guys to go look at it. But I feel like I get where you're coming from, George, with having that thing of like, oh my gosh, like how long is this process? And I'm just gonna encourage everybody, like let's try not to. It's going to be a hard habit to break because I'm in that same boat. Moving forward, we got to see what the new regime is going to do in the company and see if this kind of stuff is going to actually begin to move. Now, mind you, I still got to temper that with the fact that, and this is what I've been talking about a lot on our show, is we build these timelines in when we see a project get announced or we begin to see a shovel in the ground and we begin to fabricate a timeline. Most people have no idea what the timeline is realistically going to be. So I feel like with the reinvestment into the parks from a few years ago, I feel like if they continue to maneuver or continue to move in this direction, I feel like the building aspect of it is going to begin to accelerate. I think that's a money thing. And this is why I'm looking over at Florida with like really kind of paying attention over there now because of what's going on with Distant Peak and Films, because watching how they're moving forward there, I think is going to be a little bit of an indicator, trying to read the tea leaves on what the mentality is behind the scenes about how quickly these are going to get built.
Right.
So when it comes to Avengers Campus, I'm stoked for it. I'm happy for it. This should have happened. This should have been open 2 years ago, I feel like. But again, this is where we kind of have to unlearn some of the bad things that we've kind of gotten from the past leadership out of Disney, and let's see what happens. So I'm stoked. The practical effects that they have, what I saw, I was like, that's cool. The other thing is the Flight Lab.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that thing. Oh my Lord. Like just watching the computer generated images of that, I'm like, holy crap, can I write that?
Are you going to have a couple beers and then?
Oh, I will have. I will if I could have a frozen Jack and Coke in this hand and frozen rum and Coke in this hand while I'm riding it.
He's going for it.
Maybe you should have a bowl of chili, Udi, and then go on.
That would be after, or right.
No.
Before.
Oh boy.
That'd be right before, and then I'm having it. Yeah, if I could do that.
No. A couple of things, and that was really well put, Eddie. And I think we should really look to what Florida's doing to get like a signal of how things are going to be here. But a couple of things about this model, I'm pleasantly surprised on two things, and it's that I like that greenery right at the far right, and I'm hoping that's a park or something where we can hang out, and maybe that's going to be for a future space. But that was not what I was expecting, but I like that. The also thing that I didn't quite register with me is that Stark Flight Lab is going to be partially outdoors.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like
So how is that going to be at night? That is that going to be a cool, element to have under the
Lighting
light?
package.
Yeah, like some sort of lighting package. How's that going to be? So that is a cool element that I never even thought. I just assumed it was going to be indoors.
Yes.
Agreed.
And actually, to get into more detail, this right here is going to be that drink stand. Like I'm kind of thinking it's gonna have like an Iron Man type esque drink stand, because if you look at a lot of the cruise lines, Royal Caribbean, Princess, so on, they've actually implemented automated robot type bars on the ships.
Oh
You
yeah.
go up and you order, and a robot arm makes your drink for you. You know what you order.
Yep.
So that's what this awning thing is going to be. One thing I did find interesting, I don't know if anyone caught on to this.
Wait, sorry, did they confirm that that's what it's going to be in Avengers Campus?
I don't know if a Disney official confirmed it, but there's so much discussion about it. And I think that's why they brought that Grogu Star Wars experience into the Imagineering Pavilion, because the technology behind that is probably what's going to propel that's going to go in here. And possibly,
I know that they're bringing the Grogu thing to, I believe, Galaxy's Edge later this. Yeah, I mean, it's possible they can have it there probably next couple years.
Well, yeah. I will say I've gotten drinks from a robot arm in Vegas, so it's possible.
Oh yeah. So I mean, the technology is already here. It wouldn't be hard to paint the arm a red and gold and call it Iron Man or Stark Industries for all I care. So I mean,
I think if they do that here, they'll create an original character.
Or make it Jarvis
Stark Industries.
Or Jarvis.
Oh, Jarvis
would be good.
Yeah.
Jarvis would be good. One thing I wanted to point out before we end tonight is this space right here. Because I looked at the model when I was on the showroom floor. This is an open space with nothing in it.
Which one? Wait, where are you at?
Right here. You see my mouse?
I see.
Spot? Like when people are walking on a pathway to get to Infinity Defense, there's an open space right here that guests can actually see through in this area right here. And I was talking to several people, and no one could figure out what's going to go there. Is it going to be a quick service location? Is it going to be a meet and greet spot? Is it going to be maybe where that future sit-down second restaurant's going to be? We don't know. Nobody knows. It was weird.
Well, this is when I wish we had somebody had a better overhead of the whole thing, because I think we could get a better idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope with everything that it's a restaurant, like it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really needs to be. Like, as much as Pim's is cool, it's not enough for that area. And they're literally doubling the size of it. Dude, Pim's is already out of control. I mean, we've all been there and we've all eaten there.
There's definitely not enough seating.
No, not enough seating. It's always packed. And so, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I'm going to see if I could try to find it real quick.
I would love for them to do something sort of like what they do on the cruise line with Worlds of Marvel, which it's part of the rotational dining, where you have two different variations. You have the Ant-Man experience, where you have to help Scott Lang and everything, and then the other one is Rocket and Groot. And when you kind of have like a little storyline, like while you're having a dining experience.
Definitely. And actually, I found a video real quick. Okay, you're going to see it right now. Just bear with me. Okay, you see it right there? You see that? You're walking in the Infinity Defense. This is open right here. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
See, that's what I mean. And it's like an open space back here in the corner. And I'm not sure what the hell that is. because there's nothing built in that area, but you have access, which is weird. Yeah, you see that? See how it's like open right there? Like, what is that?
That's. I mean, I hope it's a sit-down restaurant, but you don't think it's like extended queue for Infinity Defense?
Oh, it could be.
It might be. Again, possibilities are endless, but I just find it very interesting because it's a big spot. Like, I mean, a big spot.
I mean, ideally, I would love a sit-down restaurant like that.
Yeah.
I think like the parks need it out here.
Oh, definitely. They 100% need it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure about that model. You know, looking at it, I'm like, Udi might be on to some extended queue, but I'm like, it's big enough to hold a sit-down restaurant. It's if you were able to, and I know me and George were the only ones there on this video that were actually there, but if you looked like on top looking into it, it looked like the size of what Pim's test kitchen looked like.
To scale.
So I'm
Huh?
like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, that is really interesting, to be honest. So
Well, that's the beauty of that if it is going to be a restaurant in there, give it a year and that's all it'll take.
yeah,
I just don't understand, like, if that would be a restaurant, why it already hasn't been announced.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel again, this is where I'm just we're kind of an uncharted territory with how they're going to do stuff now. We're very used to how it's been, so I don't know. I'm with you though. I want more information rather than less.
Yeah.
no, definitely. But gentlemen, this was a wonderful, wonderful discussion. Long conversation. Udi called it. He said, we're going to go until past 10 p.m. It's past 10 p.m. So, you know what? I'm telling you, I think Udi needs to get a lottery ticket. This guy knows how to call stuff. He knows how to call.
Mark knows the number. 95%. Mark knows the number.
I know he's right. Most of the time he's right.
95%.
But go ahead, Udi, please.
Well, no. I just wanted to say thanks for having us on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love talking about this stuff, and I was like, man, I know we tried to like keep this stuff tight, but man, when we get going, we just get going. That's why I said, I mean, so many more conversations. This is why I wish, man, sometimes that the conversations I just flash back to our conversations in the park, and I go, man, like,
yeah,
capturing those moments, and like you said, with the trips that you've been on, you guys together, there are moments with, and this is why all of this stuff is so special to all of us, because it's not only the place that we get to, but it's who we go with and the experiences that we have and the memories that we make. So yeah, I mean, thanks again for having us. I think it's great. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. And I'm very happy and honored to call you guys as friends. And yeah, thanks, man. I just can't say thanks enough, man.
No, absolutely. And I have the privilege of knowing you guys and knowing George. George has really opened my eyes to a lot of things, being that he was the person I look up to most when it came to going to Walt Disney World. And man, if it wasn't for George, I'm going to be honest with you fellas, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I'm serious. I would not know. That place is so humongously massive. Yes. You don't know what direction to turn. Absolutely. But George, I'm going to start with you, sir. Thank you so much for being on tonight's video. Where can everyone find you on social media?
Absolutely. And Conductor, thank you so much for having me on. And Mark and Udi, always a pleasure talking with you guys. I was so glad I was able to come on because there was no way that I was going to miss this conversation.
Nice.
Well into 3 hours. I enjoy our conversations. And Conductor, of course. Can't wait to do our many more adventures down the road. It's going to be great. Before I mention, where you can find me on social media, I just want to give 2 more quick honorable mentions that was also mentioned at D23. Looking forward to kicking off 2027 with the return of Magic Happens and Remember Dreams Come True at Disneyland starting in February. Cannot wait for that. But in any case, you can find me on my YouTube channel, HALOGELATO, where Abby and I cover all things theme parks, Disney, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, even the Disney Cruise Line. We do a lot of life vlogs, entertainment vlogs, out of theater movie reviews, all that good jazz. And you can also find us on HALOGELATO on Instagram, and also my own personal account, the Disney Italiano, on X and Instagram as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and before I forget, also too, walking the park with the Disney Italiano as part of Leaving Today's podcast. I do these little snippets of basically summing up some of my own personal experiences going through the parks several times a week. So I like to bring that info and knowledge onto Leaving Today's podcast as well, with Walking the Park with the Disney Italiano.
Yeah,
absolutely. Awesome. What a great thing you guys are doing. And again, I kind of feel like this conversation could have went another hour or two. It's
probably
what Udi said. When we start talking about stuff, it's hard to stop because it just brings up so much conversation. Great. Mark, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Where can everyone find you on social media and YouTube?
Hey, yeah, again, thank you. I just want to echo what Udi was saying. It's an honor and a privilege to be amongst you guys talking about this. And, one of the things that I love about both of you guys is that, and what we try to do on our show is we try to go deeper behind the headlines and ask the questions. Why are they doing this? And where are they going? And not like, oh, this is going to be like a really cool ride. No, we want to know why they have to do, what are they doing, what problem are they trying to solve, what and how is it going to impact stuff. And you guys are of the same ilk, so I definitely appreciate that part. And I love learning from you guys. And like Udi said, I really in fact, Udi and I talked about how cool that trip was when we went with you guys. And well, we didn't go with you, but we met you there. But how awesome that was, how unscripted and unfiltered it was. And it was probably one of the highlights of my year so far. So I'm serious about that. So I look forward to being in the parks with both you guys and also creating more content, because there's never a dull moment with Disney. And I'm looking forward to sharing new concept art, complaining, rationalizing, and coming up with solutions with you guys. So that being said, you can find me at Leaving Today Podcast on Instagram. You can DM us there. You can send me an email at info@leavingtodaypodcast.com, or you can find Udi and I on our channel, Leaving Today Podcast on YouTube for LTP Lounge every Wednesday from 6 to 7.
Absolutely. And again, Mark, big congrats to you and Udi as the 10-year anniversary for your channel just happened not too long ago.
Thank you.
Your 250th episode on the way to 300, which is going to be another massive milestone. And man, what you said about hanging out with me and George, believe me, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure George can echo the same thing. It was actually an honor to hang out with you guys in person.
Yeah, the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about, Disney and our love and passion on a video, on a live stream. It's a whole nother to hang out in person, on location at Disney, and really just kind of vibe out, geek out, and just hang out.
Yes, man. Oh man.
And Udi, again, I utter the same things. You and Mark, I am so blessed and happy that I met you guys and continue to do content with you guys, because you both give an awesome perspective and love and passion about Disney that I don't meet too many other people besides you two and George that really kind of share that passion. So it's really a true honor to talk about Disney with you with all three of you, and it's just such a great time. But where can everyone find you on social media?
Thank you for that, man. It's really, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. You can find me, obviously, where Mark just said, because we're tagging along with each other. You can find me, just me, on my Instagram, which is HAXGOALIE, Haxgoli, and I just tell everybody that is me on there. So yeah, that's all me on there. So and you can find me there. So yeah, and everywhere else you can find Mark. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And again, great conversation. Can't wait to maybe do it again, maybe in a couple months. Hopefully we'll get some news on the vague projects. Maybe.
Sure.
Just maybe.
Whenever. Yep.
I'll tease it. Or you know what would be a great thing? Because being that the Disney Cruise Line is going to make that groundbreaking announcement on October 7th, maybe we might have to do another video, us four.
Okay.
I have the live already set up for that date. Just saying.
I'm game.
If I'm available, you count me in. I'm down. Let's do it.
One last question, actually.
Sure.
If you two were going to come to the Walt Disney Family Museum, when would that be? Because I have something cooked up. Do you guys know who Michael Bowling is?
Oh, of course.
So yeah. Michael Bowling is a friend of mine.
No kidding.
Yeah, he actually lives close to me, and he and you guys know who Marcy Carricker Smothers is?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a Disney author. She's a really good friend of ours. About 5 years ago, we did a Leaving Today podcast meet and greet, and Michael Bowling and Marcy were our hosts for the tour.
Wow.
And we were there for like 3 or 4 hours. And I talked to Michael just the other day, and he said he'd be willing to host it again. But I just want to get like a feeling of when you guys would want to go, because I want to make
actually after we're done with this recording, there's something I wanted to bring up to you guys as well.
Sure.
Because I actually have something possibly for that same area.
Okay.
So everybody stay tuned, because me and George might be going in the Bay Area very, very soon.
See, the question is, a lot of people ask me, are you ready for the Bay Area? I'm wondering if the Bay Area is ready for the Italiano.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That's scary.
I'm going probably not.
No, probably not. But again, everybody make sure to like and subscribe to not only Theme Park Conductor, but HALOGELATO and the Leaving Today podcast crew, as this probably will not be the final discussion on D23.
Oh, no.
The projects we talked about tonight, including the Disney Cruise Line. But again, I'm your host, Theme Park Conductor, and you could find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Bluesky at Theme Park Conductor, on X at Theme Conductor, TikTok at Theme Park Conductor 1, and every Sunday at 5 or 7 p.m. for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we have all three of these amazing gentlemen on, and we talk everything from Disney to Universal. We talk about what's going on in the parks, and we really break stuff down, and we just have a great time doing it. So definitely stay tuned, because more content with all four of us is going to happen in the near future. Have a good night, everybody.